Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Get Wrecked Summer Splash Platinum Semifinals. I am Powell Whatubritty, and I will be helping us host tonight with, I don't know his first name, but Crims. Say hi, Crims.
Hello, everyone. And we're just going to keep it to Crims. That's the way it's going to be.
We'll keep it to Crims. We'll stick with Crims. And we are hopping immediately into draft with our first game of Mingos on the blue side and Ice Cold Beverages on the red side. Already quickly into the draft with Viego, Diana, Kane, and Callista all being taken immediately off the board.
Yeah, and I believe that they were using Kane as a comfort pick throughout the last series, so they just decided to take it out. Kane, not the biggest map effector in my opinion, but hey, banning a comfort pick is at least a decent pick at the bare minimum.
I have to say I'm a little surprised to see Kane be banned by ICB, given how much of a comfort pick that is for Circave and how well he performed on that the last time we saw him here. But perhaps they just do not want to give that up as priority. With Morgana being the final ban, the Tahm Kench takeaway, not too surprising. If you've been a fan of ICB for a little while, you'll know Dr. Goon absolutely adores his Kench. He loves to unbench it, unclog the frog, however you want to phrase it. So seeing that get taken away.
I thought he's a catfish.
Catfish, but he's pretty froggy.
Do they even have a frog champion? Now that I think about it. All right. Well, Catfish versus Gigantic Ram. Who do you think's gonna win that one?
Both of them are surprisingly good at tank shredding, so I think it definitely could go either way.
I'll give it early to catch, though.
Dr. Goon, definitely not his best performance. Last series we saw him. We're hoping to see him bounce back a lot harder in this one. And the Varus Hover, again, we're looking at comfort champions for ICB right now. Nothing too unexpected. The Varus pickup, one of Real Allen's best performing champions over this tournament. And we're going to see what Glacial Mingos do in response.
Well, I do think Nocturne would be a pretty good pick into the Varus, as Varus does not have that many escape tools and can cancel Varus's ultimate with the spell shield there. So Nocturne gonna get locked in, pretty much giving Adamsuki a good target in the game to lock onto and get a kill in the back line. We'll see who they pair it up with. I usually like having a dive buddy, right? So maybe something that could join the Nocturne or at least assist the Nocturne in the dive.
Even Tahm Kench can be a pretty good dive buddy with the recent update to him, relatively recent, with his ultimate and his W abilities swapping in spots. He has more access to that Abyssal Voyage more often. With Lucian being picked up, we're pretty much assuming that's going to go in the mid lane, so Nocturne losing a lot of his flexibility, though given the nerfs to his laning stats, much less healing off of his Umbral Blades passive, so seeing him in the jungle, not too surprising. Volibear being picked up, looking at a bit of a flex between Ornn and Volibear. We mentioned this last series with ICB in them. When we saw Ornn recently for ICB, he was sitting in the jungle with Sir Cave, having relatively an insane performance. So wouldn't be surprised to see that be flexed in there, but we did see Dr. Goon pick it up topside, so it's definitely a potential flex.
So they banned the Anivia. Are they assuming that this is a Lucian bottom lane, or is there going to be some kind of mage trickery? Because it looks like they might be limiting their own middle champion pool here. What do you think about that so far? Have you seen any trickery with the mage bottom, or possibly Lucian bottom instead?
I have to say no. I think the Anivia may be a bottom lane ban away. Just as perhaps Chandler Clark has put a lot more time on the Lucian than we are aware of. So maybe that can be flexed down towards the bottom side. But just given the fact that ICB is drafting very hard against the Lucian going bot lane, I think they have the read on it going there for certain.
Quick,
Sandra.
Someone pull up op.gg.
Quick, somebody pull up the OPGG. Give us the solo queue stats.
What's the solo queue?
Lissandra being picked up for Shidoko in the mid lane. Again, not a huge surprise. I think the biggest surprise in this draft so far is how hard ICB are saving this counterpick support. Really want to see all of the bottom lane before they lock that in.
Oh man, all those mid lane bans, and they just pick Ziggs. Pretty much,
One of
I
the
would say,
picks on the patch.
one of the strongest bot lane mages in the game right now. Maybe should have banned Ziggs, guys. I don't know. And they're going to pair that up with Leona as well. So Nocturne getting another dive buddy, as well as giving protection to the Ziggs, who's going to be pretty much poking out everyone on the opposite team. Maybe Varus will be the only counter that they have. And Taric pick. So that is going to counter a little bit of the dive if they do go for this.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why they left the Ziggs open. They're really hoping that Mingos will throw everything into this dive comp, and then Taric just gets even more value. The mages that they banned away were relatively safe ones, and not ones that will throw themselves in the backline. Ziggs also not really throwing himself into the backline, but throwing that Mega Inferno Bomb back there. Just trying to give Taric ulti a little bit more value. Right now, we're seeing Volibear in Dr. Goon's hands and Sir Cave on Ornn. Talked a little bit earlier about this possibility of a flex.
Well, certainly Volibear will do. He'll do better in the early lane phase than Ornn against the Tahm Kench. That is for certain. And I mean, the Ornn jungle is a little slow, so it's going to lose out to the Nocturne early, but obviously will be scaling a lot better into the mid and late game.
Yeah, and that Sir Cave even showed some proficiency for early ganking on Ornn. Surprisingly enough, you wouldn't expect that champion to be able to walk into lanes and get kills, but ended up being a monster on the series. I have to say, I'm a little surprised that ICB have let through Ziggs Leona. As we've seen through this tournament, and even in professional play, in places like the LEC and the LCK, Ziggs Leona, a really insane combo. Leona just holds them in place long enough that Ziggs gets a full burst combo off, and the damage is disgusting. Do you think that's a bit of a concern if you're a fan of ICB here?
I do think that's going to be a bit of concern, especially in the lane phase. Like, Varus is a strong laner, but Taric famously is not so great in the lane phase, and definitely not going to be doing well against a poke champion like Ziggs. So I'm going to expect the early lane to go in the favor of Mingos here. They're going to be poking down the Taric and the Varus, and then whenever they feel like it, they can just engage with the Leona and get the kills probably before Taric's ult even comes down. And maybe if they get this set up, they have a pretty good team for getting mid prio and then having the Nocturne join in with a dive on the bot lane turret. I'd be interested to see if they could pull it off. Certainly will be very effective. Taric ult, you're saying, hey, invincibility, but it has a startup time. And I think that if they poke them down and if they're low enough, they should be able to secure the kills before the ult becomes a factor.
Yeah, I think it is a bit concerning if you're an ICB fan. There's a lot of dive, and while champions like Lissandra and Taric are great into dive comps, it's just going to be a matter of how good can they be, how comfortable are these players on these champions. We've seen, if you're an ICB watcher, you've seen Shidoko play also in the collegiate scene for Big Sky Montana State University. We know he has a pretty good amount of playtime on Lissandra. And as a personal friend of Dr. Pepper's, there's definitely favoritism towards Tarek as a champion, so I'm not too surprised to see it in the draft. If I have to just look at both these drafts and give a draft advantage ignoring nameplates, I have to give it to Mingos just because of the power that all of these champions have on their own. It's just going to be a matter of how well can Mingos execute with this comp and how well can ICB execute against it.
If you were watching yesterday's games with Mingos, you kind of noticed that they had a bit of a trouble in the early games in 2 of their games. And then during the mid game, they really pulled it together to get some good picks, good engages. And if we look at their comp right now, they have that set up again. So they can go ahead and with the Nocturne Leona combo, get some really good picks and maybe secure themselves a Baron. Now, they were able to pull it back together in the mid game phases, but they were falling behind early games. So even though they have the better early game comp, it depends on how they play it out, right? So if they don't get that early game advantage that they require here, that's where we can see ICB pull ahead early and keep a good lead.
Yeah, it is really going to be on the mid to late game transition. If Mingos can grab an early lead and can start pulling themselves ahead, I think they're going to have a very easy time transitioning that into the mid and late. But if it's even, or if even the ICB comp is ahead, they're going to start to have a lot of trouble scaling into that late game. Just given the power of the Ornn items, given the power of Varus and Lissandra, the later the game goes, it should be interesting. Something to note here as we transition ourselves into the loading screen. Choice of summoner spells and runes. Rally on Lucian has chosen to take Airy.
Yeah, I am a bit perplexed myself. However, it's not the worst runes ever. It will assist in the poke damage a little bit. I have to assume that's a little bit of a mistake there. However, Airy is going to assist in getting you extra poke damage. Not really going to benefit from the heal too much, but maybe looking for a little bit extra early power spike level 1 to 3. I mean, I think that Lucian would get Prio anyway against the Lissandra, so I'm looking for Rally to go ahead and go for that bot dive as I was talking about with that Prio, and Airy might help out just a little bit more to get that Prio.
Yeah, I think if it's not a mistake in the champion select page, just not changing your runes in time, we'll have to perhaps get a chat going with Rally, see if this was on purpose or not. But anyway, as we are watching our teams do a 5-point defense, do we want to get started on a quick introduction of both of these teams? If you'd like to run down our blue side.
All right, so for our blue side here, we have the Mingos, Glacial Mingos, with Nathaniel Lanier in the top lane on Tahm Kench, Adam Suki on Nocturne in the jungle, Rally holding that mid lane with Lucian, Chandler and Gabe Kochki playing the bot lane with Ziggs and Leona.
And on the red side, we do have Ice Cold Beverages, Dr. Goon in the top lane on the Volley Bear, Sir Cave in the jungle on the Ornn, Shidoko in the mid lane on the Lissandra, and rounding out the bot lane with the Real Allen and Mr. Dr. Pepper Porter on that Varus and Tarek, respectively.
So Dr. Pepper Porter really carrying the team and Dr. Pepper on his back. We'll see if he's able to do it in this game.
Yeah, the name is a mouthful. We just call him Pepper, but he is certainly a force. Right now, just some pretty casual trading up on the top side. Nothing too heavy going on, though Nathaniel Laney are getting a very positive trade there early on.
Yeah, with the queue of Tahm Kench, you can get some really favorable trades early. Of course, Volibear would like to get his combo going down. However, Tahm Kench gonna blow Ghost. I don't think Tahm Kench was really in danger. Maybe trying to force out a kill, make Dr. Goon a little antsy there. However, Volibear has pretty good healing, and now that he's level 2, can pretty much get that chomp down for healing anytime in those trades.
Yeah, I think that was just a bit of an over press from Nathaniel Lanier, maybe trying to just get within the minions so he can grab the stun, maybe force a summoner spell out of Dr. Goon. But Dr. Goon really understands the intricacies of the Kench, so probably just shaking his head being like, you can't fool me with my own tricks. I was there when it was written.
Probably saw that he was close to level 2 and was like, I'm okay.
Well, it is gonna be a slight early CS lead for him right now.
Yeah,
Though
with
with this wave,
the
it'll be close
passive,
to even.
I didn't sorry to cut you. I didn't think about this, but Volibear has a lot more push than the Tom Kench, and Tom Kench has terrible, terrible AoE. So Tom Kench has no way to fend off this push here, and that's going to give them early prio and early access to that Scuttle Crab there. So they didn't even have to commit a fight for it with the push from the Volibear. With the passive, free pushing power was able to get this here. Oh, looks like they're going to be going for the fight anyway.
We got possibly a 2 versus 3 on the Scuttle, but with
They have to back off.
Yeah, with the Lysandra rotating and Tom Kench not being there, that is just going to be a free Scuttle given over to Sir Cave. We saw the last time he was on this orange jungle, he was able to double Scuttle a Nocturne in the early game. We'll see if it can happen again. Right now we're just.
I think Leona's gonna.
2v2.
I think Leona's gonna wake them up from that dream there, as she's roamed up early for this Scuttle Crab take. Tark there too as well. A lot of prio going to these Scuttle Crabs, and rightfully so here. Sir Cave looks like he's just biding his time in the jungle, and they ultimately give it up. Yeah, too much prio from the Ziggs in the bot lane there.
Yeah, something to note about Ornn jungle specifically is a lot of times junglers will have, especially in the recent season, really good sustain with their health and mana in the jungle. The only reason they're recalling is really to buy those items. But with a champion like Ornn, you don't really have to recall to buy those items. So very often you can keep full health in your jungle and save a lot of time clearing and pathing by just buying your items from the jungle itself.
Missing a Q there on the Lucian, pretty big. Yeah, so I think if you ever hear LS's streams, he talks about it. You want to get those fruits to heal up Ornn. Doesn't have the best sustain in the jungle, but with the fruits, should be able to stay in lane permanently and can buy items whenever it feels like it. As we have a trade up in top lane here.
Wired Taste stacking up. Nathaniel Lanier possibly looking for the stun here. Sir Cave is rotating up the double stun, trading across. Tom Kench Grey Health being popped for that shield. Sir Cave looking for some kind of re-engage, but it looks like nothing is gonna happen there. It's just a trade of health bars.
With all the low mobility, it's just tanks waddling away or towards each other. Very uneventful gig.
Lots of wet noodle fights, lots of slow movement, but there is no vision for Nathaniel Lanier. There's a possibility of a regain from Sir Cave here. Doesn't have Predator boots.
I think he could try to hide in the wave. Hide in the wave. The wave's gonna do. Oh, the wave didn't.
The wave does not do anything against the Ornn. That's a teleport being channeled for Rally. Trying to move back up. Dr. Coon looking really low. Nathaniel Lanier popping his Grey Hill shield. That's going to be first blood given over to Rally. Can they maybe get a trade back? No, Nathaniel Lanier dings and gets the kill. And in the meantime, Glacial Mingos are also on the bottom side of the map, able to pick up the dragon. Shidoko possibly looking for something, but he's not level 6 yet. He can't pop the Glacial Prison. Glacial Prison, that's Sejuani. Frozen 2 on the Lysandra. And that means Nathaniel Lanier with that teleport healing is just going to be walking away. Dr. Coon got a good teleport in. Shidoko dinged 6, and that is Rally being taken down. Staying up a little too far, not recalling respectfully enough. Overall, positive trade for the Mingos, taking 2 kills and the Ocean Dragon, and rounding themselves out to about an 800 gold lead.
Yeah, you gotta give it to Mingos there. Now, not something you see very often, winning on both sides of the map at the same time. However, Rally staying a little bit too long there to try to push the wave in for Nathaniel, ends up getting killed by the teleport with the Volibear. But overall, I mean, you take that trade for Volibear's side, but overall, Mingos win on both sides of the map.
Yeah,
and that is a huge advantage.
Taking a 2-for-1 trade and getting a dragon on top of it, never something you're going to be upset getting. A really good teleport, good presence of mind from Rally to move up there and protect his Tom Kench that little bit longer.
Yeah, I think Tom, the wave got split, which ended up helping Tom a little bit, but could have helped him a lot more. But in the end, was able to take it up with the skin there and give Rally some kills to help bolster the mid lane.
Looks like right now, lanes are just evening themselves back out, and we're seeing the issues with Ornn in the jungle right now. Already falling to a decently sized CS deficit to the Nocturne. His wave clear abilities and his camp clearing abilities not the greatest. Probably just a little bit slower on clearing those camps.
And that's with taking some mid lane CS there as well. So a bit farther in the mid lane, in the jungle tempo than we see here.
Yeah, Rally putting this area to good use, getting a really good amount of poke onto Shidoko, but we've got another trade up at the top side. Nathaniel Lanier really looking for the Q stun, but is not able to find it, even with the Acquired Taste stacked up. Looking for the Abyssal Voyage in, finally lands the stun, but Dr. Coon is just doing his best to out-sustain it. Fire Taste still stacked. He's got the eat. Not gonna eat him.
I think Dr.
Eric's gonna walk
Goon,
away.
Dr. Goon low on CS now, but should probably catch up with that huge wave running to his turret there. Interesting to see that twice in a row, Tom Kench stacking a huge wave against this Volibear, when I think it really should be the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's surprising to see that Tom Kench has been able to shove into Volibear so much, but with the power of this Q damage and the extra healing it's providing to the Kench, it's a very difficult lane to play against. Definitely a frustrating one for a tank player.
Yeah, and no Thornmail either. And considering that Volibear does a lot of magic damage, maybe that's why Nathaniel didn't go for it earlier. But it does cut his healing as
Abyssal Voyage lands. That's going to force the Stormbringer out of Dr. Goon. Solar Flare is going to land onto the real Allen, force his flash away. Well, it's just going to be a trade of an ulti for a summoner spell there.
Well, that is worth it. I think that can secure a gank from Adam Suki, come down with the Nocturne ultimate, and basically just get free access to this Varus. Won't be able to flash away from the fear as Rally goes in for a trade on a Shidoko there. Gonna go ahead and force out the mid laner. And I think bot lane is set for a dive. I'm gonna call it. We'll see if it happens, though. It does require a bit of coordination and gusto to get that dive set up there, but I think it is. It's
Call the force grab coming through on the top side. The stun is going to land on the knock-up. Nathaniel Lanier looking to Abyssal Voyage back in. Dr. Goon starting to get a little low here. The CC is landing onto the Tom Kench.
Oh, he's 2v1.
He's got the Grey Health Shield. He's so tanky, but Dr. Goon is able to heal up so much. He's got the feast. Dr. Goon just a little too tanky, and Surcave is going to take the kill away. Very well-timed gank, and that's the issue with this Thomas Kench not having flash.
I think he could have tried to Abyssal Voyage out, though, but he went back in. Oh, Tarek is not even level 6 yet as well. I do think Adam Suki and Rally could have probably came down here to shake things up, get their Ziggs massively ahead, and with the Satchel Charge, able to take down turrets, no problem there. Rally in a position to get Shidoko here with his ultimate, but they're just going to back off from the mid lane.
Yeah, maybe just not enough mana. I'll just do a quick rune check. I don't know. Is he running the mana flow band? He is. Maybe just with a bit more time, he could have gotten enough mana for that ulti, but right now just sitting on just not enough, so he wasn't able to make that dive happen.
Ooh, bot lane in trouble right now. I don't think they know. They don't have enough wards.
Not enough vision going on here.
They have wards, but not in the right places. And you can see Mingos there perfectly threading the vision.
Here comes the gank. Chandler Clark looking for as much tower damage as possible, launching the Mega Inferno Bomb, but he is going to be cleaned up by the real Allen. And in the meantime, Gabe Kochki is just going to be able to walk out of there. Rally burning a culling in the mid lane. Shidoko looking for some kind of trade back. Has his ultimate, but is choosing to not use it there. Knows he doesn't have the kill threat just yet. With that bot lane gank, that is going to be Dragon collected for ICB.
Yeah, so if you're going to push up that far, you definitely need vision in the river. Now, they had vision around the river, which can help save you, but it's on your side. So unless your enemy's walking through your side, you're not going to see them, and that's why their bot lane died like that. However...
Terrell popped on the top side. It's going to be tower taken down. Adam Suki looking to use the Paranoia to get in here on Shidoko. Great Frozen Tomb to cancel out the fear on himself. Dr. Goon maybe looking for some kind of re-engage.
Teleport.
Gonna pop the Stormbringer to go in. Teleport. Surcave popping the Call of the Forge God. Adam Suki in a big amount of trouble here, but with the fear, he's got his whole team around him. Rowley in the meantime is gonna pick up Shidoko on the backside. The Cosmic Radiance coming down, protecting Dr. Goon for a little bit longer, forced to flash away. Rowley looking for some kind of re-engage here. Dr. Goon on a sliver of HP. The Bouncing Bob is not gonna find him. Even with the Leandri's burn, ICB only gonna lose one on the trade, but Mingos taking that with gusto and are going to take the second tower of the game. Thanks to
Dr. Pepper there with the ultimate to save his team, but doesn't win them the battle there as they lose 2 turrets in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's the power of that Herald plus the Ziggs push. Definitely dangerous.
They got all the plates on that as well. As we see, look, there's only 5 plates left for ICB here, and I think Ziggs is going to go around and just pick up all the rest of those plates there, and that's going to give them an even bigger gold lead as soon as they get that down. And man, what a start for Mingos here. This is a huge gold lead. We said that they needed to get ahead, and well, they've pretty much done that job.
We talked about it.
Hit that off the checklist.
Dr. Pepper maybe gonna look for something here. Finds the Dazzle onto the Ziggs. Shidoko landing the CC follow-up as well. Dr. Pepper gonna steal that kill away from his mid laner. Not the best, but now Gabe Kochki in a little bit of trouble. Good knock-up from the Ornn with the collapse. Are they gonna be able to kill him, or is Leona just that little bit too tanky? Dr. Pepper cleaning up his second kill of the fight. Culling coming down. Nathaniel Lanier has come into the Abyssal Voyage, forcing the flash away from Surcave. Shidoko gonna use that Glacial Path to get himself out of there. Real Allen popping the lighted arrow. Surcave looking for something on a rally, but the burst is just too much. Real Allen flashing forward to get the kill on top of him. Now they're just trying to beat up the frog as much as they can. Nathaniel Lanier is going to be able to pick up Dr. Pepper before the end of the fight. A double kill for him, but overall it's going to be a 2 for 2, as I believe Leona was able to... No, she did die in that exchange, so 2 for 3 overall.
Yeah, that was a case of the greed there, trying to get too much on the map. Didn't reset yet. Enemy team has reset. You're trying to farm you're trying to get the scuttle, you're trying to get everything on the map. No objectives to fight for either. So kind of just randomly in the river, greeting for no reason there. Probably should have reset, and well, it costed them. And that's going to be... It's still going to be a gold lead for them as they go for a little bit of
trouble here. The Hex Flash is channeling. Zenith Blade lands. He's going to be crowd controlled. Not swiftly enough. He gets the Glacial Path out of there, but Adam Suki is going to land the Fear. Another great timing on the Frozen Tomb to keep himself safe. And Gabe Kochki might have stepped up a little bit too far, possibly trading his life. Yes, it is going to be a 1-for-1. Well played from Shidoko to get the trade back in that 1 versus 3 situation.
I'd like to point out that ultimate was barely up in time. Just barely.
Power of the Cloud Dragon rally looking to punish Dr. Goon for stepping up a little bit too far. He's got the Kraken Slayer, he's got the move speed, and Dr. Goon does not have those tier 2s yet, so he is gonna be taken down.
Yep, Lucian there riddling that pelt with some bullets, and that's a free kill for Rally there. 3, 2, and 3, but importantly, going again with this Kraken Slayer build for the extra damage. He does have things to avoid in the team fight, so we'll not be able to do that with the Glacial as they engage again.
Real Allen is a little bit in trouble here. Abyssal Voyage landing perfectly on top of him. Heal being popped, Tarek healing him up as much as possible. Constant Gradient's coming down. He's going to survive with a sliver of HP. Getting the heal from the Tarek. In the meantime, Tyra's going to go down on the bottom side of the map. It is just going to be a disengage from both sides. Something worth mentioning with that bottom side tower going down is Ziggs wasn't able to pick up any of those last 5 plates before the tower platings went down. We mentioned it earlier, but he just, in that getting caught in the mid lane, was not able to grab that extra gold sitting on the map for them.
Yeah, that is a shame. It was probably free gold if they just reset it after that fight top side, and they pushed down the bottom lane, got there early, pushed it up. Would have probably got those plates there, but they're not going to be able to pick that up. And man, barely missing out the kill on the Real Allen there. Sliver of HP left, and then a Tarek ultimate to seal the deal to save him. That was Dr. Pepper playing save the president there. Watch out, Mr. President. Took all the bullets from Lucian to save him there.
Real Allen is 3-0, and something worth mentioning here, he did opt to go for the lethal tempo. He is building for Tank Shred, going for that on-hit Varus as opposed to the lethality that we normally see from Varus nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think his team has enough damage to back up a poke Varus. However, that means that that's going to give poke control solely to Ziggs here, and look at that. He's already got hundreds of damage down on his team. Ziggs poking them out. They just need to buy their time. Oh, they can't.
Shidoko looking for an engage. Big root. Can he get the Glacial Tomb on himself? He can. The Ornn Ram comes in, but Paranoia coming in on the backside. Real Allen picking up Gabe Kochki for the first kill. Abyssal Voyage landing on a couple of members here, and that's just going to be the fight cleaned up by Chandler Clark. The triple kill for the Ziggs, the double kill for Rally on the Lucian, and that is a 5-for-1 ace for Glacial Mingos.
Wow, yeah, that's a really big play, and that's going to get them even farther ahead now. And, you know, I honestly think that ICB probably should have gave up that dragon. If you look at the summoners here, the Real Allen doesn't have his flash, Shidoko doesn't have his flash. They just weren't set up for it. I know it seemed like they were in a decent position to get it. They were there first, but with Ziggs poking them down and the flank from Adam Suki on the back line there, it was actually a no chance for them to pick up that dragon. Definitely should have gave it over. And honestly, they're just in a huge gold deficit. So you probably wanted to scale it a little more, bide your time. But now you're even in a worse deficit, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah, important things to mention. Tarek ulti was not available during that fight. And while it was great timing on the Glacial Prism, without the protection of that Tarek ultimate for your ADC, you're going to be in trouble. Shidoko maybe caught a little bit out of position here, taking a lot of damage from this Lucian. already on that item and a half power spike, looking to finish up that Essence Reaver. He's dangerous on this pick.
Yeah, I don't think that the Lissandra pick was the answer into Lucian. They knew it was coming. I think they could have picked a better mid laner to fight against this Lucian. Don't know if Shidoko had the pull for it though, but Lissandra definitely taking a beating in this matchup.
Shidoko's comfort pool is definitely on these control mages. We saw it in the ban phase, Swain being taken away from him. And
Did they ban Orianna? Why would Orianna?
Orianna was banned away by the ICB side, along with the Anivia, sadly not being available to them for this round of picks. Tom Kench maybe looking to get onto Dr. Goon. The Abyssal Voyage lands on him. Nathaniel Lanier has had great accuracy with these. Dr. Goon is trading back really favorably, has finished up that Divine Sunderer. This may not be the trade that Nathaniel wants to take. Dr. Goon's going to walk away with a health advantage.
Yeah, importantly, Volibear also does magic damage. Don't forget, guys. And Divine Sunderer plays into that very well as picking up the Mercury Treads for both sides here to counteract that magic damage. But Dr. Goon's got the magic pen. So probably the trades are going to go in his favor with the percent health magic damage as well as the physical damage at the same time. So the split damage really playing for Dr. Goon there.
Yeah, somehow Dr. Goon has come up to a small health lead. Maybe Nathaniel just rotating a little bit too much for his team, not focusing enough on his own farming. But right now, Goon is sitting in a fairly comfortable position, has his mythic completed, is getting closer to that second item, but there's an engage on the bottom side. Paranoia coming into Cirque Cave, stepping up a little bit too far. The Fear still lands even after Flash, and Rally's just going to be able to pick up that kill cleanly with the calling.
Wow, yep. Definitely had the vision secured there with the pink ward, and the enemy was not in position to protect their jungler there. And with the Paranoia on top of that, making it even harder to come to his assistance there. It's going to be a free kill. Probably going to push this bottom turret, maybe even get it down with the Zig Satchel there. However, they do not have any mid lane pressure, so it looks like everyone's just going to rotate the bot lane to try to save this turret. We'll see if they have enough wave clear. It looks like they might.
A lot this game. Power this Zig's push. Shidoka landing a root onto Rally, forcing the dash away. The Varus ulti not going to land. Chains of Corruption going a little bit wide. If that lands, maybe a good engage, but the Mega Inferno Bomb taking Shidoko down almost to death range. Definitely a more dangerous spot for ICB to be in. This Ziggs is just showing up massive in this draft. You have to wonder if it was a bit of a mistake for ICB to let that one through.
I mean, and not banning out the Ziggs as well when they had perfect, ample opportunity instead of banning Anivia and Orianna. I think Rally should have been mid lane, and I think they would have got the turret if Rally stayed there. However, it looks like they're just going to fight instead.
Gabe Kachi looking for the engagement on the real Allen, landing the full CC combo. Paranoia on top of him as well. Chain of Carcass is just going to blow him up with that full Zig CC. Glacial Tomb landing on top of Adam Suki. Horn coming down, looking for some kind of re-engage for ICB, but it only lands onto one. Trying their best to burst down Nathaniel Lanier, but the man is so tanky. Gornbringer comes down on top of Rally. Babe Kochki going low, but in the meantime, the rest of ICB are just being cleaned up on the backside. A double kill for Rally and another ace. 5 for 1. It's deja vu all over again. 5 for 1 with Gabe Kochki being the only one taken down for ICB. And with this Rift Herald, it's possible that Mingos might just be able to end the game here.
Zig should be able to satchel right after this charges here. Oh, looks like they're not going to be able to do that.
Saving that satchel for the second turret. With the Nexus exposed, that might just be game one being taken over. Megan Furtibon coming down just as a bit of flair to finish it. 21 minutes. That is a clean game by Glacial Mingos.
Yeah, and what a monstrous lead in the early game as well. Playing to their team comp strengths, getting the picks with the Nocturne actually. And honestly, for the side of ICB there, I don't think they drafted a comp that could handle the pick from the power of the Mingos there. I mean, they tried to go for the Taric, but Taric doesn't activate fast enough for picks, more of a team fighter, and man, it really cost them in this mid game.
Yeah, I have to say, even though the scoreline and the damage numbers might not tell you that story, I think that Adam Suki has to be our MVP of game one. He was just all over the map where he needed to be. Just popping the Paranoias at the perfect times, the Fear on top of Circave on that pick in the jungle, just very well played from him, and a good start to the series for Glacial Mingos.
I will champion a contender for the Ziggs play for that fight. I think overall understood what he had to do. Chandler doing a great job getting the pushes, getting the turrets down wherever he could, teleporting top lane for that amazing top lane fight that snowballed them heavily into the lead. So I would contend with the Ziggs. pick there for Chandler. Debatable. Oh, we're jumping straight into the draft.
We will be jumping straight into the draft for game 2. ICB opting to take the blue side in this game, as they do have side selection in game 2. It will be interesting to see whether the priority is there for the Ziggs. It's something that we've seen Shidoko play, but we have not seen it in the hands of Rio Allen yet. So losing that potential is a flex, but definitely a powerful option as a first pick there, as the bans start to come through. Callista and Diana both being taken off the table.
All right, will we see a Ziggs first pick or ban? Interesting to see. I also think the Lucian has been playing a pretty big role for Rally in the mid lane. I think a lot of people are not properly counterpicking this Lucian pick, and that's why Rally's been having a lot of success. Interested to see if any team's going to go ahead and adapt to the Lucian pick situation, especially since they just first picked it, giving you ample opportunity to pick whatever you think is a good counter into Lucian.
We do also have to mention that there is a bit of contention between the Thomas Kench that is going to be hitting the ban bench today. The Frog has been benched. It's a champion you don't want to see in Dr. Goon's hands. But with Kench hitting the ban table, it does leave Ziggs open as a viable first pick. So I think potentially there's a lot of powerful options here. The Ziggs, the Lucian, even the Leona, even Gwen, who has managed to slip through the ban phase as well. Definitely all possible first picks.
Yeah, Gwen, another strong carry champion here. So that's going to be picked up for ICB. So they won't have a single carry champion threat in this game with the Gwen in the top lane. And that might be more beneficial for them.
The hover being a little bit troll, Akshan is disabled for the remainder of our tournament here. We will not be seeing him, as the Nocturne is going to be picked up most likely for the Glacial Mingos. Again, Adam Suki having a great performance on it. Not surprising to see it land in his hands again.
Oh, yeah. Looks like they're going to go pick the Nocturne. Let's see if they're going to give him a dive buddy in this scenario here. Lots of options to have a dive partner for Nocturne. I think Gallia is probably my favorite. Maybe not the best pick, but definitely my favorite for that wombo there you can do. About 4 seconds left. We'll see who they pick up. Maybe a AD carry or support. Yeah, looks like they're going to go for the Ziggs.
With the Ziggs being left in the ban, left through the ban phase and not being first picked, I have to say, I think that's a bit of a mistake from ICB. I know Gwen is one of these really strong champions, can be flexed between top and mid. I know Shidoko loves to pick her up in the mid lane, but Ziggs is just a lot stronger on the patch, and I think leaving it open in any case is a little bit troll. I was a little surprised to see it actually get so far through the first round of pick ban in game 1.
Okay, so they're going to pick up a Trundle here, which I don't think is the correct play, as we haven't seen a tank on the other side yet. I would probably wait for the tank pit there. Not the worst into Nocturne, can contest him a little bit, but Nocturne's still going to win out the 1v1s in the early games phases.
I think the most surprising pickup here is the Leona immediately afterwards. Trundle, a great counter to Leona with the combination of her W plus the Aftershock, can steal away a ton of tank stats and make Leona incredibly squishy. Trundle usually being picked in counter to these Aftershock tanks. So to see it be paired with one is a bit surprising, and now it's going to give the Glacial Mingos a little bit more freedom to move those tanks around the map and try to possibly pair Ziggs up with something different.
I mean, I don't even think Ziggs has to be paired up with a tank necessarily. You can go for some really crazy ultra win lane with a Ziggs Karma, functioning pretty similar to an Ezreal Karma. Obviously, Ziggs doesn't have as much escape. However, I think should prove to be a very, very hell bot lane for the enemy team here.
Perhaps something a little bit crazier like a Ziggs Senna, maybe looking for that poke and sustain lane. We are going to be seeing the AD carry pool targeted for ICB, the Varus and the Ashe taken off the table. Meanwhile, they are going to be targeting the mid and support pool of Glacial Mingos. The Lucian being taken off the table as the Jax was picked up on that red third pick.
I think that the Mingos here are helping their enemy team draft by banning out the Varus and the Ashe here, as you want your Nocturne to play into those champions. Nocturne is perfect against Varus and Ashe. They're basically the same champion, right? Low mobility, have a CC initiator for your team. Perfect for Nocturne to take out. So I think that's a little bit of a troll in the draft, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think they are just trying to ban away as much comfort from the real Allen as possible. There are still other 80 carries that you can pick here. Ezreal is open. Even Samira is open if you're looking for some dive. Jhin is open as the tank line for Glacial Mingos isn't too heavy. Jhin not being needed to, or an ADC not being needed to shred these frontline tanks, as it is going to be locked in. And we see what the possible final pick is going to be for ICB.
Okay. So they're going to try to counter the dive with a Shen pick here, which is a bit interesting. I think that is a Gwen mid lane and then a
Yeah,
Shen top lane now.
Gwen will be moved into the mid lane and Shen up in the top lane, unless we see something crazy like Gwen mid with Trundle top and River Shen.
Well,
with the final pickup being Scion, just a tank for Trundle to start munching on.
yeah,
In the
exactly what I
jungle.
thought. Yeah, you just gave Trundle a nice ultimate target there. When I think maybe you could have played they just put Jax mid lane. What a crazy round of swaps here.
That is a bit of a surprising flex to see Jax run into the mid lane, though into a champion like Gwen. Definitely the possibility for a good matchup there. Gwen does decently well into melee champions, but Jax really good into champions who rely heavily on auto attacks and rely heavily on getting into those melee ranges. So I think it will be an exciting matchup to say the least. I don't know exactly
Yeah.
who's going to be favored though.
I think I'm not going to have much time to analyze this game is what I'm thinking about right now.
I think there's going to be fights.
Fights.
We did forget to mention Gragas being picked up as the paired support with Ziggs, similar in style to Leona, just trying to land that crowd control, make it easy for Ziggs, though the ultimate being a little bit more displacement than crowd control, maybe not matching up as well as Ziggs, unless you have some crazy synergy and throw the enemy champions into Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb with the cask. However, I would be really surprised if we saw that happen.
Yeah, what I'm thinking right now though is the real Allen must be a masochist because he willingly picked Jin into this team comp here. And I'm just thinking about how hellish that would be to play against. We got Ziggs, Ultra Poke, Gragas engage, Nocturne engage, big Scion that's going to tank and block all your damage. And then on top of that, a Jax who will willingly dive on you and block all your auto attacks. I feel like this is not a good Jin pick, if you ask me.
Yeah, I feel like there are definitely better ADCs to be picked up. Ezreal is open. Zaya is open.
Yeah,
I know
self-healing 80 carries, right?
the comfort picks of Ashe and Varus being taken out doesn't feel great, but with champions like Vayne, Zaya, Ezreal, these champions with a little bit more mobility and these champions that have the ability to keep themselves safer in fights when you have people like Trundle, Gwen, and Leona who want to be playing for more dive, though they can play for more peel. It's going to make it a bit more difficult for ICB to pilot these fights, and they're going to have to really play around keeping Jhin and Gwen alive. Now, if you missed our first game, it was Glacial Mingos favored, a 21-minute, very extreme display of talent from them. Are we expecting to see something similar headed into this game too?
Well, I think ICB has kind of done a similar thing in our last game with a low damage comp here. We have three tanky boys. Okay, two tanky boys, one tanky girl with a Gwen and Jhin. You know, Jhin doesn't do the most damage in a team fight. Gwen most certainly will. So I'm afraid if those two champions fall, and Jhin may be very likely to fall in this scenario here, they may have a really low damage comp. So if they get the early lead, should be no problem. They're going to have nice beefy tank line while their damage dealers should be, if they're well safe, will deal ingh damage to win the team fights here. But if those champions die at any point in these fights, I'm afraid they're going to run out of damage to take out the members of Mingos here.
Yeah, I think the big issue is going to be where the damage is coming from for ICB. If Jhin gets behind, if Gwen gets behind, while we're not expecting them to, the ease of access to dive from Scion, from Nocturne, from Jackson Ziggs, it's going to make it very difficult.
Yes, and something to point out here is Gwen doesn't do very well into poke, right? She doesn't have very many ways to heal while she's not in the fight. And that's where Ziggs can come in here and even Gragas lay down some decent poke on the Gwen and maybe kick her out of the fight before it's even started.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult comp to pilot for ICB, but we've seen them do harder as we start to get loaded into our game 2, ICB versus Glacial Mingos. again, just doing a quick check over of the summoner spells and runes and all of that good jazz. I don't think we're seeing anything too out of the ordinary this game. No air illusions that we have to be
I
have
mean,
to be
Rally
ready to
won.
talk about.
He still won that game.
He did win. It was unusual. I don't know how much more it helped him as opposed to the
Oh no, definitely was
as
a
opposed to the
mistake.
Presti attack,
I'm
but
gonna yeah, that was a
it
mistake
worked.
for sure.
We'll take it. Something worth mentioning here really quickly is Shidoko opting for Flash Ignite as opposed to something more like the TP Ignite. Possibly seeing the value of having that flash into someone like Trundle, into someone like Nocturne and Jax.
I think you would typically be more comfortable with it in the top lane here, but since you're in the mid lane, Flash is pretty much a must, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Especially if you're melee. Oh, Nathaniel, you're in
Nathaniel
trouble.
in a little bit of trouble. The bite coming through,
Flash.
immediately forcing the Flash away from him. The slow on that Trundle bite, definitely not to be underestimated. Just that little extra slow to make sure Trundle gets that full bite animation in. Oh no!
Okay, inting. Oh, team's pinging him. Oh,
Nathaniel, that is a don't know exactly.
Wait, hold up. We can't. Wait, hold up.
That.
I hope we don't have any stream snipers here because technically the enemy team is not supposed to know.
The enemy team hasn't seen it. They're not pinging it. So as far as the enemy team knows, Sion still has teleport. This may not end up being too terrible for him, but with the last round of teleport changes, the earlier in the game you have to use it, the worse the cooldown is going to be. It's going to be a pretty hefty 400-second cooldown. We get a bit of early trading in the mid lane, and we're seeing the power of that Jax Counter-Strike not really allowing Gwen to trade back.
Yeah, I think Shidoko could have traded back a little. Okay, she's going to go for a little bit here because that is a very long cooldown on the Jax E there. So give Shidoko some time to get some damage back. And it looks like about evened out there overall. But man, Sion, man, you are in a bad situation. May have to put Nathaniel here on suicide watch if the game goes south from here.
Oh, if he ends up getting caught up by an early gank and doesn't have that teleport, that's disastrous for him. That's going to put him in such a terrible spot, especially into someone like Shen, who has access to that, when he hits level 6, that double teleport of getting that Stand United along with the Summoner spell. And it's not to be forgotten that Shen also has really good tank shred, so we get a quick engage in the bottom side. I don't think that's going to come out to a kill with Aftershocks trading. Just a bit of aggressive pressure.
It looks like Trundle's pathing for a top gank, but it looks like Shen may be shoving in the lane a little bit mistimed to a gank. It may bounce, and if it does bounce, we might see Trundle picking up basically a free kill here.
If it does fully bounce back, and Trundle gets to pick up that kill, the punish on that teleport will be big, as that's a large wave being stacked up in the top side.
Yeah, if I was Dr. Goon, I'd be trying to shove this in. Especially, look, Trundle's there to support as well. So this is an opportunity.
Yeah, taunt getting canceled there really bad for Dr. Goon. Ended up taking a massive health deficit in that trade.
Oh, just taking Qs. How many Qs to the face?
Smashing these Qs here.
Okay, so we have the scenario of the champion with more HP versus champion with more mana. Who will win? Oh, Shidoko is out of mana now. I don't think
out of mana.
Rally doesn't know that he could probably win that.
Opting, interestingly, for the Dorn's Blade start. This is something we saw in Gwen on release, though very much more often now we're seeing things like the Dorn's Shield or even the Ring. So seeing Shidoko opt back for the Blade just for that little bit of Omnivamp, really interesting as Rally is looking for an engage here. Sir Cave is here to cover, but it looks like they are just going to walk away from it. The junglers both just protecting their laners, making sure no spooky re-engages happen.
Yep. And it looks like Nathaniel's going to go unpunished. They never knew the whole time. As long as he doesn't die to the Shen, then he's going to be pretty much skating free from those troubles early game.
Yeah, the extra bit of health that comes from being a manaless champion, the extra bit of lane sustain for him, ending up being pretty nice. And Shen does have a good matchup into tanks with the power of that Shen Q doing the
percent health,
the extra percent health magic damage. Importantly, difficult to itemize against since Shen is so heavily based on those auto attacks for damage. Sir Cave looking for something here in the mid lane. The pillar coming down. Jackson getting a good timing on the counter strike. He is just going to be able to walk away there. No.
Yeah, I
summoners
mean
down.
they're both auto based, and Jax is pretty much just gonna Wololo right out of there with his helicopter staff. I don't think prioritizing ganks mid lane is the way here, as Nathaniel's
Dr.
getting
Doom
pretty
taunting
low.
in, but Adam Suki is here.
Oh,
Nathaniel
the
Laney are getting
taunt.
very low, and he's taunting him. Nathaniel Laney are going to be walking away with 0 HP, just adding salt to the wound. But in the meantime, Dr. Pepper's here looking for Rally, but Rally just a little bit too far away and is able to just walk out of the Hallowed Mist safely.
Oh.
And in the meantime, we do have a quick pause coming through as the Mingos ADC has had a bit of a disconnect. We have a bit of time to talk about the sad goings on of the early game.
Never mind, we got
looking
debated.
for some kind of re-engage here. Dr. Pepper looking for the engage. Rally getting the counter-strike off, getting a good stun onto one, but his flash is forced out. Dr. Pepper looking for some kind of follow-up, but is not going to be able to find it. Now we're going to have our spectator pause delay as we didn't get our countdown coming out of it. Just give it a few seconds. We'll be back up to time because Riot is a small indie company and they've been doing a very good job of keeping track of all the bugs in their client.
Wow, that wasn't sarcastic at all.
I would never be sarcastic. I would never.
All right, it looks like, though, they're going to take this opportunity with Rally being low to get the dragon, and the first dragon at that, at around 6 minutes here. So pretty early dragon, and not costing them that much as they have the mid lane pushed out. And they don't know it, but Sion is not going to be here at all, no chance. So what is a free dragon take?
Important to mention, that teleport still on cooldown. Like I was saying earlier, that 400-second cooldown, especially in the early game, being incredibly punishing.
It's rough. It's rough. However, Nathaniel gonna go ahead and avoid it. Although I think it did affect him as he has a around 10 CS deficit, probably bigger than that. I'm not doing the math for real.
Close to 15, yeah. Without teleport to come back to lane early, ICB probably just thinking, oh man, this Sion is so smart. He's saving his teleport so he can get to a fight if it ends up breaking out, follow that Stand United from Shen. But in reality, they just don't know that he flubbed it a little bit.
Yeah, I think Sion's just, Nathaniel's just doing hyperbolic time chamber, as Shen's probably going to have more globals than him throughout the whole game. Just testing it out there. Preparing for the future.
Important pickup from the top laner here of Nathaniel, going for the Phage early. Maybe looking to pick up something like Sterak's, maybe I'm thinking Gore Drinker. It doesn't build into a lot of the tank mythics. So unless he is going to look for something like a Gore Drinker, he's looking for a non-mythic item first pickup.
I guess Gore Drinker is not that bad. I can imagine if you get an ultimate on Sion and you hit multiple targets and then you Gore Drinker right after, that would be big. I mean, traditionally tank has probably been better, and it's better for your team, so going damage is a little bit of a solo pick, selfish, as you
looking
can call
for a
it.
little bit of those solo bolos. Rally looking for a roam here up on the top side, but is going to get spotted up with the pink ward, so no action there. We're seeing a pretty similar story in the bot lane as we saw last game. The Ziggs being pushed in and not a lot being done to punish him for it.
I mean, you would think that, Leona can just engage on the Ziggs. It's like, no, not really. Ziggs is going to poke her out when she doesn't have her engage. As you can see, taking a lot of damage on Real Ellen there. And there's a nice big Gragas tummy to block Leona from getting in on the Ziggs anyway.
Important interaction for that Leona E. If you get interrupted mid flying through, you will just stop. You don't end up going all the way back. It's not a teleport. It is a dash, and it can be interrupted.
Yeah, so Gragas being pretty good counter this Leona. I don't see how she's going to get in. And also, if things go really south, Gabe can just ultimate out any situation, and it should be pretty safe lane overall. And not to mention, Gragas Q can poke as well, as I think we have 2 fights on both sides here. Nope,
Shen
just the
going
top side.
in with the Shadow Dash, looking for as much damage on the Nathaniel Lanier as possible. Now we have possibly a bot lane engage. Paranoia coming down. Adam Suki looking for the engage. All of the summoners being blown. Heal and flash being taken from Dr. Pepper. But they are just going to be able to walk away from that, losing the Mega Inferno Bomb and the Paranoia. And now we have an engage going on in the mid lane as well. Bradley and Shidoko duking it out. 1,000 Needles, snips. But Bradley's going to take the tower shot and he's going to die. And in the meantime, Dr. Pepper Porter also going down to the bottom side, stepping up too far with Adam Suki still in range. And that is a 1-for-1 across the map. with the kill going over to Adam Suki.
All right, wow. So both kills going down in the mid lane and the bot lane there. And it looks like this is going to give Ziggs, again, lots and lots of turret plates. Looks like the same old story again. Ziggs getting a lot of extra money in these matchups here. As
Dr.
Gwen,
Goon's
though,
gonna
gets her own
interrupt.
advantage. As Gwen, though, picks up her own advantage and a turret plate. However, is going to have a bad reset timing here. And maybe Riley might even get the kill.
Really looking for something, but Surkave has popped the Rift Herald here. Maybe just looking to get the charge off before.
I think it's going to be wasted. Yeah, that was.
Oh, the wave coming in.
Mistimed.
Bad timing by Surkave. That Rift Herald is just going to go totally to waste. Not even a charge on the tower. That's a big loss in gold for them. That's about 300, maybe more, that is no longer able to be picked up from them.
So one of my biggest advices to newer players is stop greeting for those turret plates there. As we can see here, Rally, without Dr. Pepper here saving the wave, Rally would have gotten in maybe 1 to 2 waves into that turret and would have conferred a huge advantage to him, even though he died there. So don't greed for those turret plates. And honestly, I think, it might be.
Dr. Pepper maybe looking for something here. Ding 6 on the wave, but Gabe Kochki is here to follow up, and Dr. Pepper is just going to get so blown up out of this fight before he can even start. Shidoko in the Hallowed Mist looking for some kind of re-engage.
I would dive
not find anything
right
there.
I would dive bot.
That's a bit of a positioning misplay from Dr. Pepper, not understanding that Gabe Kochki can be there and can counter that gank. With that death, it probably is just going to lead right into the Infernal Dragon for Glacial Mingos. Opting not to dive bot lane, but instead maybe looking for a gank in the mid lane.
Oh, beautiful.
Good body slam, good cask to throw Shidoko away from his tower. The Mega Inferno Bomb coming down, but the Stand United is coming down. Shidoko with that Leeching Leer has so much life. He's not able to die just yet. Surkave flashing forward, looking for something here, looking to try and get 1 kill out of this exchange. Rowley stepping up forward, doesn't have the mana, has just enough for the counter strike, and Adam Suki's coming in with the paranoia. The fear is going to land, and Rowley's going to walk away with literally a sliver of HP. I would have to go back and see if that's single or double digits, but that is very sad for Surkave, losing his flash and losing his life in the exchange.
Sorry, I might be punished for dirty farming here. Looks like he's going to be in a 2v1 situation.
Shen landing the Twilight, opting to ulti away from the tower as Gwen has gotten the way around on him, possibly looking to just execute himself into the tower, but Dr. Goon was able to get the damage, and Surkave is here to make sure he can't get away scot-free with the press the attack.
Oh, that's a waste of a flash.
That's a flash used over the wall into a situation where you're never getting out. Better to just save that. Yeah, definitely a big wasted summoner spell for him. Not exactly what he was looking for.
Yep. And okay, so now to reference what happened near the dragon there. So Mingos kind of pushing their luck there, went for 2 plays at the same time. Gank mid and dragon almost costed them. However, due to Rally baiting in Surkave deep into his own jungle, and Adam Suki coming in, swooping in with that ultimate, was able to pick up another advantage. Unfortunate for Surkave there. But man, they seem to be greeting out a lot, and they're getting away with it.
Yeah, we have to mention also as well, Dr. Pepper looking for the Zenith Blade, doesn't find it. We have to mention on the bottom side, there's about a 300 or so gold difference between the ADCs as the Solar Flare does not land. Gabe Kochki body slamming, sliding himself out of there.
TP.
TP coming in. Looks like Chandler Clark wants to get back into the action. Body slam not going to land onto Dr. Pepper, but with the satchel charge, it is going to be the engage onto Gabe Kochki. He's looking very low. The Ignite's going to take him down. Dr. Pepper now a little bit on his own. Adam Suki going to pick him up, go on a rampage, but Shen landing the beautiful double taunt. Spell shielded from Adam Suki, but he is going to look for Chandler Clark, but not using his flash, so he's not going to be able to find him. Stridebreaker just cleaning up that kill. Adam Suki now unstoppable. 5-0 on the Nocturne. Good teleports and good use of those global ultimates.
And that's, I believe, was that a 2-for-0 trade right there?
Gabe Kochki lost his life, but they ended up picking up 2. So yeah, 2 for 1. But in the meantime, Chandler Clark may have overstayed a little bit too much. Greedy farming. Real Allen might be punished instead. Chandler Clark flashing forward, looking for the pickup. The minions plus the Leandrix is going to find him, but Shidoko is going to be able to clean that one up when now 3-0 on the map. Looks like we have a couple of carries being built up here, but yeah, it's the power of the Ziggs. The damage that he does is just a lot of burn and a lot of damage over time from the Leandries, and with the minion autos coming in as well, it was just a kill picked up for him in return. A little greedy, but he finds something in return for it at least.
Yeah, I mean, he reduces his shame by getting that 1-for-1 trade there. As well, a lot of action happening in this bot lane there.
Maybe looking for an engage in the mid lane. Dr. Pepper looking to pick out Rally here. Doesn't have the Mercury Treads just yet, and the Leona CC combo is huge. Shidoko picking up his 4th kill of the game. And that's just I think a bit of a loss to Shopkeeper from Rally, not picking up Mercury Treads into Shen Leona. Maybe looking for some more aggressive fights on the top side as well. Adamsuki popping the Paranoia. Hallowed Mist coming down. Adamsuki really wants to make this happen. Great Mega Inferno Bomb, huge amount of damage. And now Sir Cave looking for the re-engage. Scion ulti coming through, but with ICB walking away, that's just going to land onto nobody. Pop into the last remnants of that pillar, and he's going to walk away in shame.
Yeah, Mingos seemed to really like that combo of the Nocturne Fear right into a Ziggs Bomb to line it up perfectly. They've done it a couple times now, and I'm starting to catch on to that little pattern there. And it does do a lot of damage, and it confers them a lot of kills there. However, not enough to get the Gwen in that scenario there.
That Hallowed Mist putting in a lot of work, and Ziggs is just going to execute that tower, second tower of the game for Glacial Mingos, as they did pick up the topside tower in the meantime. As a little bit of caster misplay here. Obviously, Scion was going to go for the Hull Breaker this game, looking to be that split push threat.
Oh, of course.
With the Phage. Haven't memorized the item path build of that just yet. Rally might be overstaying a little bit, trying to be his own split push threat. Sir Cave grabbing the bite onto him before the counter-strike comes down. Rally getting a good hop out. The pillar going to troll Real Allen a little bit, not landing that root. And they're just going to try and keep him as slowed up as possible and feed that kill over to the Real Allen. And with the mid laner down, ICB might just look to pick up the dragon here as well.
Yeah, that was just greed again. That's the story of this game, is greed. Who's going to greed harder?
Right now the greed is on Shidoko as he's forced to lose his flash, walking up a little too close to Adamsuki there. With the Paranoia and his flash up. No smite just yet, but if they had a little bit more information, maybe they can go for something. Opting instead to just say, hey, we're going to give up this dragon. We're totally fine giving that away.
So this may be my fault here. Okay, it probably is. Something to talk about, though, is I believe that the Nocturne ultimate is the counter to Shen ultimate. We haven't been seeing Shen ultimate too much, and he has 2 globals, so he could ultimate and come back to the lane here. I do believe Nocturne ultimate can cancel out the Shen ultimate. He has to wait for Paranoia to be over first, or he has to guess ahead of time where Nocturne's going to be ulting.
Yeah, it has to either be a preemptive, aggressive Shen ulti, or it has to be waiting until that Paranoia comes down, as even if you click on your allies' champion portraits, that ultimate can't go through as you do not see the target.
I believe that was a Shen pick Nocturne as well there.
Yeah, the Nocturne picked up first round for Glacial Mingos, and the Shen being picked up as that final pick. Maybe a bit of a self-counter pick here. But it is working out in favor of Glacial Mingos. Now, near 4,500 gold lead for them in this game. And while the Gwen is very fed, the Nocturne is as well. So we're hearing the sounds of the Scion ulti in the top side. Not going to come into this bottom lane trade. As Rally just doing his best to get a positive trade. Nocturne looking for the engage here with the Paranoia and the Fear. Great healing from Shidoko on the Gwen, but it is just going to be shut down there. Teleport starting to be channeled from Nathaniel Lanier. The Stand United coming in from Dr. Goon. Do they want to take the trade back here? Great flash taunt just landing onto Adamsuki. The Mega Inferno Bomb lands onto 2. Now, can ICB walk out of here? No, they can't. Dr. Goon is being picked up, and maybe Sir Cave is able to walk out of here. But with the stun from Rally on the Jax, Sir Cave is going to be able to walk out just in time, but in the meantime, in the top side, with that Hull Breaker and the Rift Herald, Nathaniel Lanier is going to be picking up a couple of turrets for his trouble. And then in the meantime, Chandler Clark also picking up that bottom lane tower.
I know it hasn't been gone unseen here, but I think that you look at the kills here, 7 to 9. You look at the CS, it's roughly the same, but it's the Ziggs pick really securing these turrets here, and the Scion on the side lane.
Solar Flare onto Nathaniel Lanier. Full CC combo coming down, doesn't have the Mercury Treads, but Nathaniel Lanier is just going to walk away as much as he can. Gale
Oh,
Force
the
being forced out
pillar.
of the real Allen. Great pillar to stop Nathaniel Lanier from coming over the wall. He does have his flash. Can he get to the wall in time to flash away? The body blocking is just too good, and they're going to feed the kill over to the Gwen. Shutdown gold going over to her.
Yeah, and now she's got an angry Scion chasing her. But man, Mingos have been playing the objective turret game, and that is where this gold lead is coming from, a majority of it. As we have an exposed inhib already, pre 20 minutes from the Scion, just working the top lane there, knocking down all those turrets. And Ziggs getting down the other half of the turrets in this game. Mingos, they're just turret destroyers.
Yeah, the gold lead coming heavily from the top side of Glacial Mingos, Nathaniel Lanier and Adam Suki carrying a lot of that gold lead together. A little bit coming from the bot lane, Chandler Clark just having a couple hundred gold over his lane opponent, but nothing to write home about, not the larger leads that the jungler and the top laner for Glacial Mingos have.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you kill a turret, you have to share it with your teammates. And
in the meantime, we've seen for I think the third or fourth time now, Solar Flare is going to land onto Rally, not landing the stun, but a great pillar from Sir Cave. Dr. Pepper landing the stun into the taunt on himself, and that is just going to be the real out picking up Rally. Shidoko, in the meantime, looking to pick up Nathaniel on the top side of the map, but just doesn't have the damage right now. Nathaniel looking for some kind of trade back. Good knock up. Has the power of that Hull Breaker passive on him. The shred from Gwen is so huge.
yeah,
He's just going to be short trades back and forth.
Tank into Gwen is not a good idea here. I mean, Rally was dead, and he was just off in the enemy jungle doing who knows what. But man, is Nathaniel not the answer?
Shidoko looking for some kind of follow-up here with the Ignite. Is that going to be enough to burn him down? Last tick coming through. No! He does survive! And with that, the paranoia started to come in. Adamasuki is perfectly enraged before the Halibis can come down, and the fear comes through. And again, Nathaniel Lanier absolutely saved by his jungler. Just flat out in a terrible matchup. But thankfully, Adamasuki's here to bail him out and make sure he can get into this game.
I think they can secure this Baron here.
And off of that, Glacial Mingos are going to start the Baron. They do have Ziggs and Nocturne for Shred along with this Jax. And right now, it looks like ICB are just going to opt to prep for this Dragon instead. Give up the Baron as there's no way for them to contest it.
Yeah, and I think they can get an inhib right away as well. We'll see what they do here. They're going to reset. They're going to try to go for this Dragon contest here. That may be a mistake. Nathaniel scouting it out ahead.
Solar Flare not landing. He's got so much HP. And
they gave up.
The thing that we were worried about with this ICB comp is the lack of tank shred, all of it coming from Sir Cave on this Trundle. But if he's not able to hit this Scion, who's going to be dealing with the front line from Glacial Mingos? A great Mega Inferno Ball landing onto the real Allen. And the Nocturne Paranoia is coming in as well. We got a big team fight. Rally landing a stun onto multiple people. Nathaniel Lanier charging up, huge stun, but the real Allen is able to pick up Nocturne in the meantime. Shidoko popping those 1,000 needles all over Glacial Mingos. Rally going down as well. Dr. Goon is just in the back line, nearly untouched in this fight. A double kill picked up for Sir Cave. And with Nathaniel Lanier popping the shield, that is just going to be a kill for him and Chandler Clark. Shidoko looking to chase Chandler Clark out of the fight. And in the meantime, Scion with the passive is just going to pick up so many kills off the back of that. ICB not respecting how much damage the passive up Scion can do with that Hull Breaker. And in the end, that's a 4 for 4 from what should have been a winning fight for ICB.
Oh, we're gonna get
but Chandler Clark isn't done. He teleported in. Shidoko's got no HP. Satchel Charge missing. All of the skill shots are missing for Chandler Clark, and he can just land an auto attack, and there it is, picking up the ace. Great use of the teleport from him, and that is going to be 5 for 4 overall in the fight. Nobody picking up the Dragon, but it looks like Glacial Mingos are going to have first move to it because, surprisingly enough, they were losing the fight when it first started.
Well, I think they were a bit out of position, not engaging, entirely at the same time as you saw Gabe Kochki at the back going around behind took a time to get to the fight, as well as Dr. Goon getting on Chandler, which was a big deal in that fight there. So team wasn't exactly set up for a front to back, and I think that was what they probably should have been setting up for. They do dive in onto the Jhin there, but he was able to get peeled by basically the whole rest of his team, and Adam Suki had to flash out there. So I think they could have bided their time a little bit more. They rushed the engage a little bit, but in the end, they still win that fight.
Gabe Kochki looking for the Leona here, but she's very tanky. But in the meantime, Adam Suki Paranoia back onto the real Allen, really trying to keep this Jhin as far out of the game as possible. Solar Flare doesn't land a stun on anybody, but it's slow onto 3. Leona's really looking to get in there, blatantly engaged with the Zenith Blade. But where's the follow-up from the team? Leona's just getting bursted out before the fight can even really start. A great top from Dr. Goon landing on 2. And now Shinoka's looking for the engage, looking to get in with 1,000 needles. But in the meantime, Chandler Clark is just untouched in the fight, dealing all of this Ziggs damage. A triple kill for him. Can they give him the Quadra? No, Sion is going to pick it up. No Penta for you, Chandler Clark. But in the meantime, it is going to be the Quadra kill for Chandler Clark on the Ziggs.
And they still have Baron.
And they still have the Baron for that little bit longer on Chandler Clark. I don't think they can end the game. Nathaniel, maybe inching a little bit, getting that shutdown cult.
No, he just wants to kill it faster and get the free reset.
Just getting that passive onto the wave, getting that little bit of extra attack speed. Dr. Pepper right now, the only one alive, possibly defend his team. And it looks like Glacial Mingos are going to respect that and walk away from the base this time. The respawn timer is just a little bit too low.
Well, Gwen does do damage, but she's not doing enough to carry this team fight. Unfortunately, not a control mage, so not able to pick up enough damage in the AoE as we have in
United coming in. Zenith Blade doesn't land a great two-man root from the Everfrost on Gragas, and the Glacial Mingos are just going to be able to walk away from that with the blue buff in hand, just adding that little bit of extra insult to injury.
Yeah, and Jhin can wail away on this Sion as much as he wants, but I don't think he's getting through anytime soon. Needs to be scaling way later into the game to get through. And man, this low damage comp you can see the effects of it.
I have to say, a little bit of loss to Shopkeeper from Jhin, opting to go for the Collector when really the only people he's hitting are Adam Suki on the Nocturne and Nathaniel Lanier on the Scion. I think even with how few times that Jhin is able to auto in these fights, Lord Dominic's Regard is just the better pickup, right? Like, he needs the extra health burn, because look at the items that Adam Suki has. Stridebreaker, Sterax Cage, now the Chempunk Chainsword, all items that give HP. And Sion is Sion, he's gonna have a lot of HP. That Giant Slayer passive would be huge for him here, but he's opted to go for the Collector instead.
Yeah, I guess going for his team, relying on his team to get the picks on key targets instead. Mainly this Ziggs here, as I think Rally and Amasuki can probably handle getting picked a little bit better. However, in the team fights, which seem to be happening predominantly right now, you're correct. I think the Dominic's second item would be a lot better than the Collector here. And I don't think he's gotten anyone low enough for that execute either.
Yeah,
as most of the time, Adam Suki is just diving right on top of him.
Yeah, speaking of itemization, Dr. Gun in a little bit of trouble here. Maybe looking for a re-engage onto Rally. Glacial Pillar pops, Surcave flashing into Landa slow with the chomp. Rally also forced to flash out, but Surcave is just a little bit faster than him. Gets the ward hop over the wall, and Rally's just going to be able to walk out of this safely. Yeah, I have to say, in terms of just pure itemization, there's been a lot of, I think, missteps from ICB. I think opting into items like the Collector are just not correct. I do really like the itemization coming out from Dr. Pepper, the Abyssal Mask, making sure his team can deal the damage, and opting into what looks like it could be the Zonya's second item so he can stay alive on that front line a little bit longer. Maybe what they were looking for. Solar Flare goes wide. The curtain call has been opened up. They're looking for anything here. All 4 shots landing, but just no damage to speak of.
I think the Locket would probably be a better pickup right now, especially into Ziggs and the AoE of your enemy team. They don't have huge AoE, but it's enough that I think Locket would help a lot.
Nathaniel Lanier ulting into the towers, inting himself away to get the Nexus Tower. He grabs it. Mega Inferno Bomb dealing huge damage, but right now Gwen is immune. Ziggs not dealing a lot of damage to her. First Nexus Tower has gone down. ICB needs to look for some kind of engage here, or the fight's just going to land on nothing. The Stand United being used aggressively, the Paranoia being used to get onto the backline as well. Shidoka picking up a kill on the Gabe Kochki, and meanwhile Dr. Moon picks up a kill on Rally, and the Adam Suki looking for anything on the real Allen, but the fight is going to go in favor of ICB, taking a 4-for-1 overall. They did lose a Nexus Tower, and that one is looking dangerously in range of a Ziggs Satchel Charge, but they haven't lost the game just yet.
They did win the 5v4, so that was definitely necessary, needed to happen. Although Nathaniel kind of just throwing himself at turrets here, throwing his body to just get one turret.
He's got the Hullbreaker build, he's looking for it.
It wasn't necessary, and it might have lost them objectives here. On the other hand, though, the good engage by Dr. Goon and Dr. Pepper there, the team doctors teaming up to get a good engage there.
They were playing bot lane earlier in the season. They've got the inbuilt synergy together. Chandler Clark may have stepped up a little bit too far here. Greeting for that tower. The solar flare stun is going to land. And there's just nowhere for him to go.
OTP
Oh no! Leona picking up the shutdown gold. Not exactly where you want it to be if you're an ICB fan. Sir Cave looking to stop Nathaniel. Perfect timing on that pillar. Beautifully done from him, and now Nathaniel Lanier in the 1v1 versus the tank shredding Trundle. There's just not a lot he can do with the frozen domination pop on top of him. He's just going to look to hopefully pick up this inhibitor, but just given the amount of crowd control ICB has, it's going to be picked up for them. And in the meantime, like you said, Glacial Mingos picking up that third dragon. It's no soul dragon, but it is setting them to soul point, meaning the next time the dragon spawns, ICB have to step out of their base to contest that.
I think this game should be over before the next dragon comes up. However, if there is a huge team fight here, I think that Mingo should bide their time. I think doing the Baron here is a mistake. You can just wait.
They have started it up. Walking in on Vision. Mingos knows. The Mega Inferno Bomb landing onto Shidoko. A good amount of burst to start. The Curtain Call opening up, looking for the shots. Stand United coming in onto Shidoko, flashing forward, picks up the kill onto Chandler Clark, who is way too far forward. Gidkachi forced to flash away. Adam Suki not in this fight just yet. Gidkachi burning super low. Rally looking to recall. Doesn't end up recalling. The paranoia is popped, but there's no engage to be had. And Serkei just picks up the Baron for free. I think that's, like you were saying, a huge misplay from Glacial Mingos, just giving ICB the Baron for essentially nothing.
Yeah, and they could have just bided their time. They had no rush to get that Baron. They were in perfect position to get it all without. They could probably win the game without Baron anyway. 3 inhibs exposed, 1 of them down. You can just wait for your super side push Scion to get to one of the lanes, add some pressure there, force them to split up, and it would have been a free Baron if you want to go that route. Or you could just take down all the inhibs with that pressure and then get the Baron or seal the deal with a team fight at the end with all the super minions there. But they rushed it, a bit of anxiety wanting to end the game early, and it costed them right there.
Yeah, looking to try and not let Gwen scale up as much as humanly possible. She has hit that third item power spike. She's only going to get harder to kill from here. Gidkachi may be in a bad spot, but is just going to body slam over the wall, get himself out of there. We do have to mention, even with the Baron buff being picked up, still a 4,000 gold lead for Glacial Mingos. Losing a Baron is not the end of the game for them. They're still heavily in the lead, and the tempo is still in their favor. It's still their game to win. It's still ICB's game to lose. But with the Baron buff, maybe it's just being able to stall out for a little more time. We mentioned earlier that the game might end before the dragon spawns, but with the Baron pickup, we might just end up seeing the soul fight.
Yeah, the Baron is a classic stall feature in the game as well. It ends games and it also stalls games. So this is the duality of Baron here, and it's gonna probably stall out to at least the next dragon. Another objective to force members to gather, congregate into a deadly battle.
Yeah, the real Allen picked up that third item. He's got the rapid fire cannon. He's really looking to land his shots onto Chandler Clark. If he can hit a couple of autos onto him, Chandler Clark, the only armor really coming through from the Zhonya's, not going to be able to find much. Shidoko looking for some kind of fight here. Stand United coming down again aggressively. Stun landing onto Chandler Clark, not able to enter into the fight. Curtain Call being opened up, and all of that burst damage not coming through. You're looking for the re-engage. Glacial, the pillar not coming up in time. Adam Suki paranoiing into the front line this time. Rally on the back line looking to burst out Real as much as possible, but no, Real is gonna live. Nathaniel Lanier in the meantime also died. Dr. Pepper looking dangerously low, popping the aftershock, but he's not gonna be able to survive. Adam Suki on top of the pillar, looking real slow. But Shidoko in the meantime, full HP. The power of that Gwen Omni Vamp being really big in this fight. And that is a 2-for-1 in favor of ICB. They're climbing their way back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like their Gwen is finally scaling up to do enough damage. Jhin will eventually get there. However, I think what they're doing really well here is peeling for their backline. Rally going in for a solo kill, didn't have the dive buddy. Probably should wait for Adam Suki to also join in to get those free Jhin kills. However, going in solo is what ended up losing them that fight there. And there's a lot of, cross peeling going on where both teams have one diver going in. And that's just not going to end up for a lower damage team. That's probably going to help you survive into a longer team fight where your Gwen could stack up and start doing tons of damage.
Yeah, something worth mentioning. Rally not really far ahead in this game, only just now looking to complete that third item, that Sterak's Gauge. Still a little away from it. So the Collector on the Jhin is actually going to be putting in a decent amount of work when he's hitting him.
I mean, Rally's build's not even for burst damage for killing squishies. He's got more of a anti-tank going on as well. So probably shouldn't be going for this Jhin. Should probably be trying to stay in the front line and help peel for his team.
Yeah, with the dragon coming up in about 20 or so seconds, this is going to be
Uncontested split push, though.
Possibly
Rally
a
on the
game
side
ending
lane.
fight. Rally is in the side lanes. Daniel Lanier has to find a way to get himself out of here. Popping the unstoppable onslaught is going to be caught up by Dr. Goon, looking to catch him, looking to hit him in the mid. And in the meantime, there's going to be a fight breaking out in the Dragon Pit as well. Chandler Clark forced to flash away. Engage now onto Gabe Kochki. Mega Inferno Bomb not landing really huge. Another great shot from Adams. From the real Allen, landing onto Chandler Clark. The Zhonya's pops, but that is going to be the pickup from him. But in the meantime, Mingos are in the base of ICV. Dr. Goon is the only one who can defend, and Adam Suki has subbed 4 people's recalls. The MVP for the team with the Sterak's Gauge pop as well, and Dr. Goon is doing his best to wave clear inside the base, but the Hullbreaker power and the Demolish power is just going to not be enough, and Glacial Mingos might just have front door the base themselves into a victory. And as the replay pause, I think we have to assume that the Nexus does fall here, sadly, as it wouldn't pause if the game went through. That is a Game 2 victory for Glacial Mingos, and that's a wow, that's a hell of a finish.
Yeah, you know, that's going to happen if you have all 3 inhibitors exposed as your team leaves the base. Rally correctly identifying that with Teleport and Nathaniel as well, although he kind of did a little more dangerous side. You can split push the lanes and force them to react to you. And since they didn't, by Adamski stopping their backs, we're able to get free access to that inhib there.
Yeah, Adam Suki coming in huge at the end there. ICB were starting to mount a comeback, but with him landing the paranoia and managing to stop all 4 recalls from ICB, leaving poor Dr. Goon on the Shen alone to wave clear, was a great bit of stop from him as well. That was a great team play from him, willing to give his life to make sure that they get the dub.
That was probably like the PogChamp play of the whole series, maybe. We'll have to see from further games.
It's been an exciting one so far. Even with ICB being on the back foot, they're still not out of these series yet. These games are getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it looks like Mingo's doing a lot better this time around, closing out when they have an advantage. To be fair, though, they've been steamrolling these early games.
Yeah, the early games are definitely in favor of Mingos. I think just a little bit of execution difficulty from ICB.
I think if ICB had better picks in the draft phase, that they wouldn't be, having this difficult of time in the early game. I think they needed to be a little smarter around who they pick, who they're counterpicking, what they're counterpicking with, and definitely who they're banning, because this Ziggs is really a thorn in their side. Maybe get rid of this Nocturne too. This combo has been working for Mingos this whole series so far.
Yeah, the fact that Nocturne and Ziggs have gone through drafts so often, you have to wonder about the banning phase from ICB. Are these other champions that are being banned away really that much more powerful than these two right now? It's difficult to say.
Here's what I'll say. Sometimes comfort is a blessing and a curse. And right now, I think you should try to treat it as a curse. Let them get their comfort picks. Maybe they'll pick it into bad situations and you'll get the advantage in the draft phase and you might win the early game.
It looks like there might be a substitution coming in for Mingos, as Kochki has not entered the lobby, and they're instead bringing in a new player, PQ Uham.
Yeah, that is an interesting name, PQ Uham.
Yeah, Uham subbing in for Kochki this game, now confirmed by Kochki himself. We'll have to see. Kochki has had some pretty impressive plays in this series so far. We'll have to see if Uham can step into his shoes and continue to play well for his team.
Yeah, he definitely had some good barrels in that last game. And honestly, just being able to play the support Gragas into Leona is huge. And basically, countered Leona in the lane phase the whole time, as well as being able to land some pretty significant barrels for his ganks. So very well played from Kochki so far. We'll see how his replacement will fare.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. I think ICB now sitting at 0-2 in this series have to start thinking about what kind of picks can they pull out, what kind of draft plan can they pull out, and how can they execute better on that draft plan, and how can they bring themselves back in this series. Sitting 0-2 is never a comfortable position. As we start to get into the draft for game 3, we'll have to see what's on their mind.
Yeah, and this is where nerves of steel are going to go a long way. Can they hold up to the pressure? This is the last game. Are you willing to make a play that will win you the game, or are you going to sit back and maybe let the enemy team play their game? It's all on these moments, and this is where I'm expecting you to change your draft around, make some adaptations, make smarter picks.
Yeah, it's going to be all on this ban phase. Is Nocturne and Ziggs going to slip through again? I think there were a couple of definite draft issues from ICB. I think the Jhin was a big error, and I hope that we're seeing a little bit less comfort and a little bit more team play as this time Glacial Mingos not allowing the Gwen through, taking it out for this round. Now that they have the first pick power, I think they're happy and willing to let that Tahm Kench slip through the ban phase.
Yeah, Tahm Kench is interesting. Sometimes he's really effective. Other times, he just waddles around, doesn't do much. I think it depends on the team comps very heavily. So we'll see if anyone wants to pick up the Tahm Kench or maybe ban a Ziggs or Nocturne. We'll see. We'll see.
So far, we're seeing the same ban phase. Either Ziggs or Nocturne is going to get through. Darius being the final ban, leaving the Tahm Kench open once again. I think there has to be some kind of change in the ban phase for ICB. They're on red side. They don't have access to that first pick. Maybe they're willing to trade Tahm Kench for Ziggs. Let the Ziggs go through. Let the Tahm Kench also go through. Pick up one of them, whichever one that Mingos thinks is not as valuable.
I mean, it could set you up for a powerful first pick phase with 2 picks. You can see what they're going to pick and then counter it appropriately as someone has left the lobby.
ICV has missed a ban as their top has disconnected. You can see he is still marked as in-game as opposed to the rest of the ICB side that is all in the lobby. So we'll be waiting for him to reconnect very quickly.
Yeah, we don't have top die here. We have top DC.
No top die, only top DC.
I think they're gonna probably remake it.
If you were coming through from our last series that we had, the gold semifinals, we did have a couple of pauses here and there, just a small amount.
Well, as we both stall for time, we are waiting for probably a new lobby to set up here. And I'm just going to go ahead and pass it up to my partner here. What is a pick that you would like to see in this next upcoming game?
I think, as much as I want to say comfort picks for the ICB side, I think the comfort picks haven't been working for them. There has to be, if you've been a fan of Big Sky, Montana State University, you know Dr. Pepper, you know his talent for his drafting phase, you know how much of a big thinker he is. So I think there has to be something he's got locked away in the notebook, just ready and waiting to be pulled out. And if there was ever a time, this has to be it. ICB sitting 0-2 in the series right now. Match point for Mingos. If they can't mount the comeback now, the season is near over for them.
Yeah, and it will be pretty rough to see a 0-3 scoreline after that game. I think they're going to probably play their best to avoid it. And, there's been a lot of drawn out team fights in these games here. And while Gwen does play well into that, I think they've been lacking in the damage department in both of their team comps here. So maybe a little more damage focused top laner, maybe a little more control mage, classic control mage focused mid laner to ensure that you have enough damage for these team fights that, there's a couple of chances where you had winning team fights, winning situations, comebacks possible in that last game. Maybe a better team fighting champion throws it into your side, and you.
Yeah, if we're doing a real quick Wheel of Fortune, just a check on the board right now. We've got B blank N Z blank GGS. Would you like to try and solve to see what the solution might be for ICB here?
I mean, we can let chat figure that out. I think we've.
I, in all seriousness, though, I do believe that the Ziggs coming through multiple times in the series, the Nocturne also coming through. Maybe ICB really thinks that these other picks have that much higher priority and are that much more dangerous in the hands of Mingos. But with the power we've seen behind these picks, I don't think you can let them through. I think if you see the Ziggs come through again for Mingos and you let Chandler Clark sit on that champion again without the threat of these backline divers and without the threat of like a long range ADC, maybe something like Caitlyn that can match his poke, or a Senna, or maybe an Enchanter support like that Taric we saw in game 1, something that can out heal the poke and sustain to the laning phase. There has to be something that ICB has here. Either ban away the Ziggs or you have something to counter it.
I mean, ironically, I think Nocturne is a great pick into the Ziggs, but they're just letting both go away to the other side. I mean, at least get one, right? If you have the Nocturne, then you can counter the Ziggs with Dive. But if you have the Ziggs, then you could try to play around the Ziggs to win the early game in the bot side. But giving away both seems detriment to your draft.
Yeah, I think if I'm remembering my rules correctly, the draft is going to be remade up to the point where Dr. Goon disconnected. So that final ban is going to be very telling for ICB. Are they going to ban away the Tahm Kench and give up the Ziggs and Nocturne? Are they going to ban one of those two away, or are they going to look to maybe ban the Tahm Kench, give up one of them, and pick the other? Maybe if Glacial Mingos think the Ziggs is that much more powerful, they take on the Nocturne themselves and have access to that backline dive. Or if Mingos pick up the Nocturne, they can draft around more of a poke comp, either put it in the hands of Shidoko or the real Allen. Use that flexibility. But again, there has to be something not only in the draft plan, but also the execution for ICB here, because they're on the back foot. This is not a great spot for them to be in.
Yeah, and I think we're both here. We've said before, but we're going to reiterate. Don't go for comfort pick for everyone. I think you need to have a cohesive team comp here, and that's what's going to get you the win. So maybe someone's having a hard time on your team. You can give them the comfort pick, but you need to build around that. And I know this is not technically part of what's happening now. That should be happening, but you have a bit of a lull time here. It is fortuitous for you to think about what you're going to do. Maybe not officially allowed for future games, but you have more time. Now, that does give the enemy time to think about what you're going to do. But yeah, take that time. Use it well.
I think this time right now is both a boon and a bane for ICB, because overthinking is helpful in some cases, but in cases like this, when you are in a stressful situation, when you are down in the series, possibly down and out, if Mingos can start to grab a lead early enough in the game, there's a big problem with mental for players here. You need to, especially in longer pauses like this, you need to be not willing, but also able to keep that mental and have a positive mindset coming into that game 3.
Yeah, just forget about the other 2 games. They didn't really happen.
Yeah, you're just playing a best of 1 versus Glacial Mingos right now. If you win that best of 1, you're playing 2 more. But other than that, you just need to think of it as a best of 1. Just come into it with as much of a positive mindset as you can, and really look to, even if you're going to come in and you're not going to win, you're going to come out swinging, and you're going to show the fans, the crowd, and the casters, and yourselves that you were here to compete. And we did see that in game 1 and 2. ICB were not going quietly. They were taking advantage of whatever Mingos were letting them have. They were moving forward. They were making plays. They weren't going quietly. So hopefully we continue to see that that dedication to the game and that style of play coming from them.
Yeah. And I know it hasn't happened in this series yet, but I would like to reiterate that Mingos in the last series seemed to have a pretty good puncher's chance as well. So they were behind in those series, but found some really good plays to make their way back in. And I feel like if you're ICB, even if you get that early lead, I think at the back of your mind, that might be something that you're considering. Maybe they just get some amazing engage, and now the game has swung back in their favor.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to be remaking the draft now. All the same 5 bands up until that last one where Dr. Goon did disconnect. Uh, and again, this ban is going to be telling. We're going to have to see whether ICB have planned on drafting around this Ziggs, around the Nocturne, or are they going to continue the same bans, and are they going to be in the mindset of, it wasn't the picks, it's the execution, we can make it happen better in this game.
Yeah, if it was me, I would say we need to change our picks to make the execution easier.
Yeah, I think ease of execution, especially given the mental strain right now, is going to be the it's gonna have to be the play.
I think keep it simple, team focused comp, focused around getting dragons. There's a lot of dragon fights going on. And make it so that when there's a 5v5 team fight at dragon, it's in your favor due to your champions. And just play for that. Basically, just keep it very simple. Don't do anything when there's not an objective. And then when there is objective, use your advantage in the team comp to fight. That's what I would go for. Super team fight comp. Well, I wouldn't go super wombo, but I would definitely go for that kind of style.
They solved the Wheel of Fortune board. Ziggs has hit the ban phase. But instead of the Nocturne, Glacial Mingos are going to pick up the Kayn, the one that was hitting the ban bench, that comfort pick for Adam Suki. Now we're going to have an entirely different style of draft. No salty runbacks here, no similar styles of comp as the Lee Sin is being hovered and will be locked in for ICB.
Interesting here. I think I might have waited on the jungle pick and maybe did a power bottom pick here, as they're going to pick one half of their bot lane with a Nautilus here and a Lee Sin. So looks like they're looking for some early advantages with the Lee Sin on their side of the jungle.
Yeah, Lee Sin, even though has been through a couple rounds of nerfs now, is still playable in solo lanes, so it could be flexed top and mid. We're expecting to see it in the jungle, but it still has that flexibility possibility for ICB.
Yeah, and here we go, rounding out a 2 seconds left on this pick. They're going to go ahead and lock in the Leona here. Maybe a Kai'Sa to follow up. That would be the classic, and that would deny ICB from getting Kai'Sa themselves with the Nautilus Kai'Sa pick as well.
Nautilus Kai'Sa, a very powerful bottom lane. Like you said, Leona being locked in, one of the best supports in the meta right now. She has great engage, great pick potential, a very simple ease of execution. And Tristana is going to be the lock-in, saving that flexibility between mid and bot, just trying to keep their options as open as possible. Technically can be flexed also top lane, but I don't think we expect to see it there.
Yeah, definitely could be used in the mid lane here. I think that Tristana may be a little bit of a flub, just a small tinge of a flub, because Nautilus ultimate is really good at catching her. You know, if she tries to jump away, it could catch her in the jump, mid jump, and she would basically be out of luck at that point, as they lock in an Ashe for the real Allen here, and I believe that is a comfort pick.
Yeah, we did see that banned away in game 2 from him. Ashe Nautilus, again, a powerful bottom lane combination, with Ashe taking advantage of the approach velocity rune with her passive and with all of Nautilus' CC. They can very easily run down an ADC like Tristana. And as we get into our second round of ban phases, that Orianna being taken off the table again. Are we going to see the Anivia follow-up ban as well? No, this time they're going to take away the Scion, not allowing that comfort for Nathaniel Lanier, not going to want him to split push the game away this time around.
I think the Shen went to the Scion pick was perfectly fine. I think that Dr. Goon handled it pretty well. Nathaniel eventually got the advantages, but I think that was due to team rather than just solo top lane action here. Now, this does still leave up a Lucian pick, and I think Rally might actually just go for Lucian still. We'll see here, and then maybe get a mage in the top lane.
Lucian is open. Tristana is possibly flexed into the mid lane. There are other mages that can go bot lane with Leona, people like Syndra, Orianna also being one of them, though less common. These poke burst mages can definitely fit their way with Leona in the bottom side, so it's not impossible for Glacial Mingos to round out their comp with a bit more magic damage.
And we have a Urgot, the man with spiky legs with shotguns attached to them, is in the game, and he is a menace in destroying tanks and squishies alike here. Now they're going to pair it up into the Mundo. I have not seen this matchup that much, but I imagine that Mundo, they're both pretty vulnerable to each other here, both with killing power on both sides in that fight up there.
Yeah, I think the Mundo has a decently favorable matchup into Urgot, just given the
The
ability
CC
for
avoid, yeah.
the Mundo goes where he pleases passive, with Urgot only really having one easily accessible bit of crowd control. We're going to see how the final pick rounds out the comp for Glacial Mingos.
Yes.
Seraphine is going to be the final lock-in, adding a bit of that enchanter power to the Mundo and the Cane. I think that's a really smart lock-in here.
Yeah, so Glacial Mingo is going to also give themselves the ability to scale pretty hard into the late game here. So it looks like the onus is going to be on ICB to make the plays here. And they're going to round it out with a Malzahar. Now, that's going to be, they have a lot of catch potential. So Ice Cold Beverages giving themselves a lot of pick and a lot of possible chances to get a early advantage before objectives to come up. They didn't go team fight, they went with pick instead.
ICB drafting pretty good comfort for their carries, with Shidoko and the Real Allen being on champions that they are happy to pilot. Shidoko loving his Malzahar personally. But I think, again, just nameplates turned off. If I'm looking at both of these drafts, I might be favoring the Glacial Mingos one. I think Seraphine is incredibly powerful and super underutilized. But as we start to tick down, that Kane is still in the top side and Dr. Mundo is still in the jungle. It definitely could stay there. We'll have to see if maybe Nathaniel Lanier is piloting Kane in the jungle itself, or maybe moving.
Maybe you alerted them. Maybe they had no idea until you said something.
Last second swap. Kane will be piloted by Adam Suki, and we will see why this champion has been so heavily contested in the pick ban phase from ICB. We've seen it hit the ban phase in game 1 and game 2. We'll have to see if those bans were really put to good use. The Ziggs being out of the game this time. Now Chandler Clark having his hands on a more traditional crit-focused AD carry in that Tristana.
Yeah, and it also looks like Rally might be having a tough game here, folks. There is a lot of pick on the side of Ice Cold Beverages, and they will not hesitate in shooting down this Seraphine here. Huge player in a team fight. Lots of, utility support, damage. She's got everything once she skills in the game. But she is not tanky. And there's a lot of ways she could die against the Ice Cold Beverages here. We've got Urgot, Lee Sin, Malzahar, Ashe, Nautilus, all capable of putting Rally in a terrible position and getting an early kill. So Rally really got to make sure that he's going to be positioning well before objectives, during a team fight, not over pushing any lanes here, because there's a lot of ways you can die.
Yeah, there are definitely 3 primary targets on for ICB. They want to take the Kane, the Seraphine, and the Tristana out of these fights. Mundo might be a menace, but without a team to back him up, there's not a lot he's going to do. I think anti-heal is going to be the name of the game for ICB. Kane, that we're assuming wants to go red in this game. We've got Mundo, we've got Seraphine, and even crit-focused ADCs have a good amount of healing just as a baseline. So I think ICB really needs to be looking to tap into that extra bit of anti-heal. Maybe look for it on Malzahar, who's applying those dots. Maybe a Thornmail on Urgot Nautilus. Just something to slow down the Seraphine Kane big heal power.
Yeah, we'll see if Dr. Pepper can get himself to mid lane this game and affect that mid lane matchup. I think with the Malzahar ultimate setup, Nautilus and Lee Sin should provide enough damage and CC utility to secure those kills. So we're really looking for Nautilus to be roaming up to the mid lane here. That, however, might be difficult into a Tristana who's going to perma shove the lane. We'll see if Dr. Pepper can play that well enough, make some smart roams mid or maybe even top, but most likely mid, and affect that critical matchup of the Seraphine versus the Malzahar.
I don't expect we're going to be seeing a lot of action mid lane pre-level 6. I think Malzahar really wants to just sit back, farm with the Malefic Visions on his E, just apply that to the minion wave, let it spread, and Seraphine really wanting to take advantage of that Encore ultimate in these team fights. These champions really just excelling when there's other members around them, not really in the solo 1v1. And as we start to get loaded into game 3, Ice Cold Beverages versus Glacial Mingos. This is do or die time for ICB.
Yeah, this is your moment to shine. When the pressure is on you and you show up, that's really going to reflect well on your play, on your mental game, and may even swing back. They call it momentum in your favor after you win this game. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for strong play. We're looking for a steeled mind here. We want solid play that is not anxious, right? So we're not like looking for desperation plays here. We're looking for smart, relaxed, calm. That's the key to this victory.
We really want to see it from them. Just a quick check over on the runes and summoner spells. Double TP from both sides. Interestingly enough, Halo Blades on both ADCs and the Phase Rush for the Seraphine as we instantly get a pause from the Glacial Mango's side. They've chosen to pause the game just in case, just to make sure everybody's ready and we're all lined up and set to go.
Oh, man. Well, that's a little bit of a exciting kill right there.
A little bit of an anticlimactic start, but we are still loading ourselves into game 3. We got the countdown. Won't be any pause this time. I really do want to talk about this Phase Rush choice from Rally on the Seraphine. Phase Rush being on champions like Ryze, like Victor, these control mages who rely heavily on that one burst combo and leave, insanely strong, allowing them to be so aggressive and not be as hard punished for it. Do we expect to see that same power from Seraphine?
Do you have to hit them with different spells, 3 different spells, right? So I don't think her double encore will activate Phase Rush.
I believe the exact wording of Phase Rush is hitting an enemy champion with 3 attacks or separate abilities. So she would have to get the encore plus other ability plus an auto attack to activate that Phase Rush.
That's definitely going to affect my opinion of the Phase Rush in this matchup. I think it might be the standard way to go, but it's going to be a little more difficult to play out, as it's not going to be as easy as an Orianna or a Ryze, where they can just basically proc the Phase Rush instantaneously.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to see if it works out. Interesting itemization choices. Rally has chosen to start with a tier, and Shidoko has started out with the Sapphire Crystal. Just double checking his runes real quick to make sure I'm going to call this out correctly, because I believe Shidoka's done his research. Yes, he has Futures Market and is going to be doing the little bit of LS research with the 4-minute lost chapter. Just get that power spike as soon as possible.
I mean, Malzahar should be having the pushing power, which means Prio. Should be able to control what wave to back on. We'll see if he backs on the cannon wave appropriately, as LS likes to harp on. We'll see if it's going to be 4th or 5th wave and start getting early backs and good timing with the Futures Market there. And it should be possible in this matchup, especially since Seraphine's going to be taking it easy with her tier there. So we'll see if Shidoko can get an advantage in the tempo versus Rally in the mid lane.
I think the important thing to mention with that particular matchup is Seraphine does have push power level 1 as level 2 gets popped by the ICB bot lane. Great hook from Nautilus on Dr. Pepper. Pops the shield, doesn't get the second auto attack, but big damage trades. Real Allen showing off how much damage the early game Ashe can do. Very winning trade for ICB.
Oh, another hook.
Side. Another great hook lands. The Ignite comes down. The heal is blown. But the ding to level 2 is going to keep Chandler Clark alive with the potions pop. He's going to have just enough healing to keep himself safe.
Man, Dr. Pepper, he is not scared. He wants to win this game, and he's definitely trying to do it on this Nautilus here. Chandler going to stay around. Might be baiting in a hook to the face here. They don't have the Ignite, but they do have heal for the tower dive. Looks like they're not going to go for it, though. But, man, I'd be calling over my jungler. Sercave, come on, get down here, please.
Especially given that Tristana is so heavy on wave clear just with that passive on the bomb. Shidoka looking a little low on mana. He really wants to reset on this upcoming wave, but Sercave may be looking for a gank. Walking in, Rally a little bit too far forward. The cripple lands the Sonic Wave. Looking for something, maybe? Choosing to walk away. Goes back in on the Sonic Wave, applying the red buff. Tempest comes in. That is going to be a Flash Force from Rally.
Yeah, and it looks like Adamsuki got baited a little bit. Thought the gank was over, and then Sercave went back in and then turned around again. but it looks like that's just going to give them
Heavy
a early
trade
health
up into the
advantage.
top lane. We're seeing the power of that Mundo goes where he pleases, not even picking up the canister itself, but just not allowing Dr. Goon to flip him over his shoulder, activate the shotgun knees. In the meantime, Adamsuki has pathed his way up there, possibly looking just for a steal in the Krugs, maybe looking for a dive. Important to note, Shidoko's recall timer got a little bit interrupted with that gank, and also with the small interrupt from Rally Seraphine, but he is going to back with just enough money, I believe, to pick up the lost chapter, hopefully.
Is it there? Is it close?
He's taking his time on it. There it is. Just waiting for the
close.
futures market
There we
itself
go.
to
He
activate.
got it.
Burns the TP to get back made, and 4.5 minutes in, that is a lost
Well,
chapter.
now he's a huge item up. He's got a huge item advantage in this matchup now.
Yeah, it is a large advantage as opposed to tier plus Dark Seal. Big ups for him in just the straight AP, but he has given up a little bit of a CS deficit to make it happen. We'll have to see if that can get evened out as the game gets later.
Yeah, now bottom lane, the real Allen and Dr. Pepper did not push the wave all the way into the turret. So
We are getting a gank in the mid lane. Sir Cave and Dr. Pepper walking in. A great hook from Nautilus on the flashless Seraphine.
I called
that is
it.
first blood. Get it over to Sir Cave. A great run from Dr. Pepper and a great gank from Sir Cave. Ashe being safe enough under her tower that Leona cannot threaten. Well played from ICB.
Yeah, I called it.
Something back here.
I said that Ice Cold Beverages should be going for that play there, and they do. We have a TP going on.
Teleport into the bottom side. Dr. Goon coming in. Chandler Clark maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Didn't get the bomb jump reset. And he's just going to be bursted out. Sir K picking up his second kill. Dr. Pepper hooking onto the Leona, but with the teleport on the backside, ICB have chosen to turn around to the Nathaniel Lanier. Real Allen forced to flash away and burn his heal. Dr. Pepper going so low, but he is going to live. That's a double kill picked up for Sir Cave. Tempest Cripple lands. Adamsuki looking for something on Dr. Pepper, but he survives with a sliver of HP in the hook. Means Shinoko's going to be able to clean up that kill as things fall apart on my desk. I'm so excited. That is no kills given over for ICB and a couple picked up for them. And now 4-0 for the whole team.
Oh man, now that was a big swing here. So we have roughly a 1.4 gold lead for Ice Cold Beverages. And you know, a little bit of troll from Nathaniel there. He did teleport a little too late. Should have probably teleported earlier. Otherwise, I think you can secure that top lane wave, get some plates down. But because he teleported and because Adamsuki kind of went in for the kills and didn't end up getting them, that is a lot lost in a play that was worse, but went even worser. I just made up a word, didn't I?
Worse or more worse, it doesn't matter. We're all getting excited here on the cast. This is exactly what we wanted to see from ICB. They're getting an early lead. They're pushing themselves forward. They're not making timid plays. That hook from Dr. Pepper, when the teleport is coming in on his backside, that's exactly the kind of play he needs to make. He's testing his limits. He knows exactly how much damage he can take and how much time he can stall for his team to just wail on the Mundo. That was so well played from them, and I'm really excited to see ICB still coming out swinging.
Yeah, and that started from a very well executed coordinated gank in the mid lane with the hook from Dr. Pepper and the Lee Sin Q landing on the Rally. As I said before, very squishy, not a lot of escape, and that just cascaded into a bunch of more good plays from them. And now a 1.4 gold lead.
Yeah, and that futures market actually coming in huge from the Shidoko in the mid lane. Rally still not able to pick up any completed components here, whereas Shidoko still happily sitting on this lost chapter, just hanging out. Has access to the Flash Nether Grasp. Sir Cave looking for something there. Possibly looking for his engage. There's the Sonic Wave, and there's the Flash Nether Grasp. Kick maybe coming in. There it is with the Flash. Great encore, but Sir Cave is not in tower range, and that's going to be a kill picked up for them. Dr. Goon, in the meantime, forced to use that E to hop away from Nathaniel Lanier. The ulti popped on him, and that is just going to be a flash away. I do really like the itemization from ICB. Great choice from Dr. Goon to pick up that Executioner's Calling early and make sure that Mundo is going less where he pleases.
Yeah, it won't help him in the trades, though, because Dr. Mundo will be most likely healing outside of a trade, so the Grievous Wounds will be down. However, it should help him out later in a all-in. So that's what we're looking for there. The all-in's going to prevent Mundo from healing up. But looks like he's taking the losing end of the trades, a bit down in CS as well. Looks like this Mundo is going to get an early start.
Yeah, but once that Fear Beyond Death can start coming in, Nathaniel Lanier might be in a bit more trouble. It's just a matter of, will Mundo be able to go where he please? Yuham looking for the Zenith Blade, and Dr. Pepper still not level 6 yet. Leona has access to that Solar Flare, but is not going to burn it. Enchanted Crystal Arrow still up.
Yeah, something
Pepper has to be close to level 6 at this point.
Yeah, something Nathaniel has to worry about is making sure his HP doesn't dip too low. And some abilities cost HP, so making sure that you don't get the
Good
kill
Crystal Arrow, a great cancel from Dr. Pepper. The heal being burnt from Chandler Clark. Solar Flare not landing the stun, but the slow onto the real Allen. Leona forced to flash away. Nautilus flashing forward. How soon is the hookup? Where's the cooldown? It's not going to be up in time. And the Glacial Mingos bot lane is going to be able to walk away, but in the meantime, we've got a trade going on the top side. Dr. Goon looking for the engage. Doesn't land. Oh, no, the skill shots are all going wide, and Adamsuki picks up a kill on Dr. Goon. Wasn't able to pop the goes where he pleases passive, so Mundo gets to continue to move where he pleases.
I'm afraid for the bot lane here. Dr. Pepper might have jumped the gun a little bit as he did not have his ultimate. And I believe if he did, that most certainly would have been a dead Tristana on Chandler there. So probably should have played the patience game a little bit and secure the kill. They'll take their push advantage, though, as we have Dr. Goon. I mean, he was in a bad situation already. I think tried to go for some hard predictions as a desperation play.
He almost had the trade back. If he had landed the flip, the ultimate would have landed for certain, and that would have been a dead Mundo if Adamsuki didn't have the damage to finish him off. But sadly, we don't live in a land of what-ifs. Nathaniel walking away safely. And I think you're right. It is the disadvantage of having a Nautilus roam like that. Your XP is going to be a little bit lower as Adamsuki is starting to look for something in this mid lane. Lands this, actually dodged out the slow. Great sidestep from Shadoko. Is just going to get a little bit of damage traded back as Sir Cave takes a bit of punish from Chandler Clark. Good room from them to protect their jungler.
All right, looks like people are squaring up at the dragon here, getting some wards down, preparing for a fight. And they'll probably be visiting that later as Dr. Pepper is clearing out wards, making sure it's a clean river. And they have secured themselves river advantage here. As man, those Qs chunk.
There goes the fear beyond death, and Mundo's not able to heal out of it in time. And there we go. That's what we're talking about. The flip pulling off the passive, which means that the Fear Beyond Death could land a great hook from Dr. Pepper into the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Nautilus ulti coming in. Good cancel from Adamsuki, but he is just going to be dead to the Tempest Cripple. Good charm from Seraphine landing. Great encore, but the Nethergrass is going to keep Chandler Clark locked up. A kill picked up for Shadoko. Again, no kills given over, but 3 across the map picked up for ICB. Great execution from them this game.
Yeah, if you're Glacial Mingos, the problem that's happening right now is you guys are getting picked off. You are being separated. You need to make sure that you're coordinated in your groups. So when you're going for that Dragon Vision, make sure you have multiple members next to you. Don't go in solo.
Dr. Goon may have stayed a little bit too far on this top side, but we also have an engage on the bottom side. Yuham not landing his ulti there. Dr. Goon a little bit low. The spell immune from the flip. He doesn't have access to the Fear Beyond Death, but the damage from the pressing attack procs are so high. Can Dr. Goon finish him off? Yes, he can! He gets the kill in the 1v1 with the health disadvantage. Well played by Dr. Goon.
He didn't even use all of the shotgun legs either, so there was more in the tank there for Dr. Goon.
Did have a little bit more damage in the tank, but he just didn't need it. The anti-heal keeping Mundo down without his ultimate, just not able to out-sustain Urgot in that early fight. Well played from him. Good bit of limit testing, and it's going to push ICB a little bit farther into this game.
Dr. Goon didn't even have a mythic item, and Nathaniel did. So that just goes to show how this matchup turns in the favor of Dr. Goon. Very quickly, it flips over.
Teleport
and
being
it
channeled
looks like
from
we have a play
Dr.
being
Goon.
down.
Yuham might be caught out a little bit far ahead. Zenith Blades to get himself up, but the Dr. Goon is just going to flip him back. Dr. Pepper looking for more, landing the hook onto Rally. Sonic Wave doesn't land. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow has to be flashed away from Rally. Great placement from the real Allen there. It's just going to be 1 kill and a couple of summoners taken for ICB, continuing to just press their advantage as much as possible. Sir Cave maybe in a little bit of trouble here, staying way too aggressively. Good flash from Adamsuki to secure the kill, and the shutdown gold, an extra 500 gold going into his pocket. Not the member you want to see it go on to if you're an ICB fan.
Yeah, but for ICB here, they got themselves a 2-dragon advantage, and they're stacking quite quickly here. And with pretty solid prio in the bot and mid lane here. Looking like if this keeps up, they're going to get a third dragon. And that's going to be very, very dangerous from Glacial Mingos here. They're going to want to counter that as soon as possible. And they should really start getting picked before these objectives get up. Start grouping earlier to prevent that from happening. You might lose a little bit of prio, but it may be worth it instead of taking a bunch of 4v5s or even 3v5s before the dragon's up.
With Adam Suki taking the Conquer and picking up the Gore Drinker, we have to assume that he wants to go red form this game. Shidoko maybe looking for something onto Nathaniel. The flip, he's flash flip, not gonna land. Fury on Death is on him, but there goes the Nethergrass to take off the Goes Where He Pleases passive, and that means he is gonna be suppressed and sucked up into the Mundo stomach.
I kind of like seeing Mundo just not affected by the Malzahar ultimate. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, the Nethergrass just following him along as he walks, but the Fear Beyond Death keeping him in. Adam Suki maybe looking for some revenge for his top laner. Shidoko has that spell immune passive, which means the slow's not going to land, and he's going to be able to walk out with no trouble at all.
So it is 2-11, but you would expect a bigger gold lead here. I think we may need to do some investigating for what the problem may be. As it looks like we might be having another pick.
A great hook from him. The silence coming down onto Rowley, not able to land that encore, only landing onto one just now. Rowley still staying alive, though. Ooh. Great stopwatch timing from Dr. Pepper to keep himself alive, and he gets the hook onto Rowley to trade kills with him, and it's a 2 for 2. Shidoko also going down in that trade to Adam Suki.
Yeah, I think they went for a little bit too much at the same time there. Either go for the Rift Herald or go for the pick there. Definitely don't go for both.
Yeah, I do really like the aggressive plays being made from ICB, but like you mentioned, they're down still. They're up 2,000 gold, but with Mingos in the previous games, we saw them have a much higher lead at this point in the game. I think it is just going to be a lot on towers that are still up. As that first tower is taken down, we do see that gold lead jump up to about 2,500, maybe starting to move even higher.
Yeah, I think they might be staying too long after their kills, and that's making them lose out on minions. Otherwise, they should be having a huge minion lead with this amount of kills on the board here. So I think that's probably playing into the lower than expected gold advantage at the moment.
Yeah, as we look across the board, the CS differences are very minimal. Dr. Pepper maybe stepping up into a little bit of trouble here. Ham looking for the engage, gets the Zenith Blade. Good flash from Dr. Pepper to get himself away from the Solar Flare. He is going to survive that. With his itemization, I do like the Mercury Treads, and he's looking for that Zhonya's. Again, that LPL tech, just trying to stay in that front line as much as possible, stall for as much time as he possibly can.
Yeah, and he did a very good stopwatch earlier, so maybe he's going to be able to make a power play later in the game. He seems to be the one charging ahead with these plays as we are
looking for the one shot onto Rowley here. Not as much damage as he would want to come through. The heal coming through for Rowley as well, but with the Sonic Wave, he is just going to land that. A great hook and Crystal Arrow onto Adam Suki as well, and that's another pick as the dragon comes up. 17 minutes in, ICB is looking to pick up their third dragon of the game and set themselves up for a 22-23 minute soul.
Yeah, this is a very quick soul, and Glacial Mingos, again, they're just staying separated. They're not grouping together. That's the strength of their comp right now. And they're pretty much trying to make solo vision plays, and they're just getting punished for it.
Something I just noticed. Does Nautilus have that in the runes? He does. Nautilus took the stopwatch from runes, but ended up selling it over biscuits or control wards while he's building out his Zhonya's. I think that's a slight misplay from him. That's just a little bit of lost value there.
Did he not have enough room for wards? And he wanted to keep Biscuit? I think you just sell Biscuit, though.
At that point, even with the Biscuit nerf coming in of the moving from a 30 gold sell to a 5 gold sell, perhaps maybe something that's more worth selling.
Yeah, I think Biscuits aren't that good right now. It's pretty much a lane phase only item.
Which I always found really interesting. I really like the rune because the later the game goes, the more valuable the cookies are going to be. You're going to have more health. They're going to start to heal you more than actual potions do. But for some reason, it's always been a laning phase based rune. Perhaps that's just my misread as a platinum player. But maybe
it just doesn't.
Maybe I just have a giga brain and no one's thought about that yet. I doubt it, but we'll see.
It doesn't heal you fast enough, and it takes up an item slot. I mean, that's just the downfall, really. Especially for support players, you need more item slots. They literally need more item slots.
Wards.
Yeah.
Just looking across the board at completed items, Surcave sitting on 2 full items already, along with Shidoko, taking advantage of that Inspiration Tree rune, the Futures Market. Yuham finishing up that locket, but Dr. Pepper still doesn't have that full Zanyas completed, still missing out on that stopwatch. A couple hundred gold away from completing that one. Before he has that, his build is going to be considerably weaker than something like the locket that Ham has access to.
I do think the Black Cleaver buy here from Lee Sin is a bit of a miss buy, in my opinion. Probably should go for, there's other options at this point, and you're not really going to be reducing, doing physical shred on the enemy team that much is where
Surcave landing the Sonic Wave, looking for the all-in, maybe a little bit over-aggressive here. The Encore landing onto 2. The extension from his teammates being perfect. All of the burst being taken down into Dr. Goon and Surcave. But Surcave with the Gore Trigger is going to survive. Dr. Pepper losing his life in the exchange. But the Sonic Wave landing onto Chandler Clark means Surcave is going to be able to pick that one up as well. Nathaniel now in the back line looking for some kind of trade here. But all of his teammates are dead. And with just one lost, it's like the reverse of the last few games we've seen. 5 for 1 for ICB, only losing the support in the trade.
Surcave kind of smurfed it there. Not gonna lie.
Surcave showing up really well, but something I forgot to call out mid-cast, it happened a little fast. Shidoko perfectly landing the Nether Grasp on Adamsuki as he tried to engage. Very well played from him, keeping Adamsuki as far out of that fight as possible.
Yeah, I think Surcave definitely whipping around the map there, using mobility to the full extent to get that advantage. A little bit troll engaged in the beginning, but was able to bait out a lot of ultimates that eventually turned into a advantage for his team there. Now his team's massively ahead, so they probably win that team fight at this stage. And so just baiting out the team fight there worked out perfectly. Adamsuki went way too far in. Lee Sin and Shidoko and Surcave able to pick up that kill, and now they have themselves a Baron 20 minutes in.
Yeah, and a 7,500 gold lead in their pockets to complement it. I do have to say, we were talking about it earlier, I, in this game at least, do like the Black Cleaver from Lee Sin. He doesn't apply it as quickly as other champions, but with the Leona and the Mundo are going to be building up a lot of armor, and Ashe and Urgot are going to need as much help to shred these tanks as they can. Shidoko maybe looking to come up and punish Nathaniel for pushing too far with this Rift Herald. He has the Ryalize. He's applied the slow. Mundo maybe just going to slowly burn down here. The Fear Beyond Death combo happening once again. The other grass comes down. Is he going to burn enough for to tick down on him? No. Mundo ulti is going to keep him healed up in time. And with the flash, he's going to be able to get away from there safely.
Yeah, and it looks like even though he's 0-5, this Mundo is tanky enough to survive that situation. The next Dragon's coming up soon, and they have a Baron, so this should give them plenty of pushing power to secure this for free here. And we're looking for Glacial Mingos to... I mean, there's not much they can do in this situation. Maybe they can try to group up properly, try to get the pick themselves, but with this gold deficit, it's not looking like they're going to win this team fight.
We have to mention that Glacial Mingos have drafted a really good team fight composition. They have Leona, they have Seraphine, they have Red Kayn. And speaking of team fight, we might have one started up. There's a great Crystal Arrow to land on the Adamsuki again. Solar Flame landing onto 2 people, but Dr. Goon is just running a train on the front line here. A great Seraphine ulti landing onto 3, but there's just no follow-up. Shidoko has found his way into the backside. Spill immune on the blast cone means he can't follow Rally over. Surcave looking dangerously low here, and he is going to burn away. Rally picking up that kill with the Leandrix pickup just on the back half of the fight.
Yeah, that was surprising. You thought Surcave was going to make it out of there, but unfortunately does not. But doesn't matter. They're going to get the dragon anyway. And while this Baron's probably going to time out pretty soon, so they're not going to get any more money, that dragon's going to well make up for that loss there.
That's an Infernal Soul pickup, and that's big for ICB. 6-23, about an 8,000 gold lead in their pockets right now. No towers given over. 3 towers to their name. We were talking about it in draft. We wanted to see some better execution and some better planning, and I think this is exactly the kind of game we were hoping to see from ICB.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to save this comp for later, but we're forced to pull it out now. And it seems to be going a lot better. And, you know, Dr. Pepper really holding the charge here, engaging on this Nautilus, getting lots of hooks, getting lots of far anchor range pull-ins to lead his team to getting these picks and looking like very solid lead here.
Something worth mentioning as well. No one on the Glacial Mingo side has paid the QSS tax so far with a Malzahar in the game. Speaking of Malzahar, the smite to get rid of the spell shield. And there comes the Silence Suppress with the Crystal Arrow. He is going to be burned down, but it is going to be traded 1-for-1. Now Yuham may be caught out in return. Great Solar Flare to stun too, but the Nautilus ult is going to keep him in place. In the meantime, we've also got trades going on in the top lane. But so far, it is just going to be that 1-for-1 on the bottom side of the jungle. No other kills given over.
Yeah, and it looks like they're still going to get this turret here as Rally has to back off. No way you can hold a 3v1 situation even with a turret here. There, and Sir Cave still has his ultimate for a kill.
Speaking of ultimate, there he goes with the Sonic Wave trying to get in. Word hops, but Rally has access to the flash. Sir Cave might just go down. Yeah, Rally now on a killing spree. ICB maybe stepping a bit too aggressively there. Worth mentioning, Shidoko on the Malzahar gave over 300 gold shutdown when he died to Rally. Rally now sitting with a lot more gold in his pockets. He's crossed over that 10,000 gold threshold. He's now even within gold with Shidoko right now.
And has the completed tier item as well, so that's also huge. Unfortunately there for Sir Cave, I'm going to have to say that was probably a misplay. Tried to do the buffer ultimate kick on Lee Sin and did not flash in the correct position, thus leading to Rally surviving. Unfortunate misplay there, as you know, Sir Cave really smurfed that last team fight. So you win some, you lose some, I guess.
You win some, you lose some. ICB still about 6.5, maybe 7,000 gold in the lead now. It is really just them trying to take advantage of this Infernal Soul as much as possible. ICB really wants to keep fighting. The Glacial Mingos are doing a great job of staying safe and disengaging fights when they can. I think this is a dangerous spot for Glacial Mingos, as the gold is not going to start coming down anytime soon, as ICB has continued to farm up in these side lanes. And with the Elder Dragon coming in 3 minutes, Glacial Mingos need to have that perfect execution of their team fight strategy to make sure that they don't just die.
Yeah, you know, Rally was a little late to that last fight, hitting.
There's the flash nether grass from Shidoko. Great pick onto Chandler Clark. He's so low, but there's no Fury on death to follow it up. In the meantime, Yuham is just going to give his life for his ADC. Somehow Chandler Clark surviving that. I'm not sure how he got out of that nether grass so quickly. It felt like he should have died there.
Might have been a cancel. Might have. I don't want to say it was, but it might have been.
It might have been, but with that flash force and with the pick from Yuham, that's probably going to be a Baron for ICB, but Dr. Pepper maybe has stepped up a little bit too far. A great charm. Good Sonya's timing is going to stay alive for that little bit longer, but the smite from Adasuki will secure the kill. Dr. Goon now in the front line with Sir Cave. Great ultimate from him. The Buster Shot launching Adasuki into the back lane, which means Shinoko's going to die as well. That's 3, now 4 kills picked up for Glacial Mingos. And if they have the tank stats, that might just be the Baron for them. But Sir Cave is not ready to let it go just yet. Adasuki flashing forward, but missing the knockup, which means Sir Cave is going to live. Now with the red buff ticking, now looking for any kind of re-engage. Good little ward hop to avoid the solar flare, but that is just going to be an ace picked up for Glacial Mingos. They may have found their way back into this game.
Oh man, that was a big misplay there. Looks like they were reaching for too much Icarus syndrome here. They could have played it safe, but they didn't. They went for the kills. They stayed a little too long in the jungle there, and that gave Chandler plenty of time to get off lots of autos in those fights, getting down the damage. I wish we could see the damage charts here. I'm sure Chandler did whopping amounts of damage there, and it's unfortunate that they overstepped a little bit. However, it doesn't mean that they're out of the woods yet. They are still on the back foot here. Even if the gold lead is down, they don't have this Dragon Soul. Dragon Soul's coming up. They're in a bad position. Even with this Baron here, it may not save them. It may give them an opportunity to get a win, though, for this next Dragon.
It means they're not out of the game just yet. Now, ICB looking to secure as much vision control around the pit as possible. Giving up this Elder Dragon would not be beneficial for them for obvious reasons. They're looking to set up some bush cheese, maybe trying to pick off Adasuki walking
Glacial Mingos has no vision here, so this is actually a good idea. They have to face check. They don't have any blue trinkets. They don't have their blue trinkets are down, so they have to
Stepping
face
over
check
the
here.
wall. Adamsuki now maybe a bit out of position. A great nether grasp from Shidoko. And a good CC combo means Adamsuki is going to be out of the fight before it even starts. Now the fight starting. Sircave on the backline, but he's getting bursted out. Nathaniel Lane on the same path, but he's got so much tankiness with this Mundo. He is not getting shredded down fast enough. Shidoko now dead, a little bit out of position. Nathaniel Lanier also losing his life. Dr. Goon getting bursted by the Seraphine. A great kick from Sircave is going to secure Chandler Clark, and that is a 3-for-2 in favor of ICB. They might just have the health bars to do Elder Dragon, but it looks like it might be close.
Yeah, and that was that Mingos turnaround I was talking about earlier, and it looks like they tried to go for it again, and it didn't luck out the second time. They were caught out of position. Dr. Pepper, again, making a play to win this game here. He does not want to go out 0-3, and they pick up the kill on Adamsuki right in the beginning. Very well played out. Unfortunately, they didn't win the team fight enough to get this Elder Dragon right away, so they're going to have to reset again. However, they can get a little bit of prio before they reset with full teammates and just play the card again.
I'm just checking the chat to make sure I'm seeing this right. Adamsuki had QSS in inventory and was holding on to it for that entire time while he was under the effect of the Nethergrass. Could have QSS'd out of it. Maybe a big misplay. Might be a game-losing misplay, honestly. As Ariel Allen going to take a little poke from Adam, but he is just going to be able to walk away as Leona enrages the dragon and ICB started up.
Okay, Rally has TP.
Rally has the teleport. Dr. Goon teleporting in to make sure he's a part of the fight. Adamsuki looking for any sort of entrance into this pit. They're bursting down the dragon. A great engage onto Adamsuki to make sure he can't steal it. The dragon resets, but now ICB have the man advantage, have the smite advantage. Red team slays the Elder Dragon, and now ICB are looking for their way in with the Elder buff. Looks like Glacial Mingos are trying to disengage however they can. Just do not want to touch the Elder Dragon of ICB. But they are going to take their one kill and Elder Dragon buff and walk away from this game.
Just going to flame Rally a bit here. That TP was way too late. Adamsuki feeling the pressure, wanted to go and check the Baron, didn't want to lose it, gets killed early. Rally being very late to the team fight there doesn't give them any poke or healing before the Dragon. So just overall questioning the side lane push of the Seraphine here.
Yeah, definitely worth mentioning. Seraphine is built for poke, has the demonic embrace, has the Leandri's anguish, as Nathaniel might be a little bit too out of position here.
This might not be worth
still online, and that is just going to be the Elder ka-choom down for the Mundo. No walking out of this one.
They're wasting their Elder, though. They should be getting turrets and objectives right now.
Yeah, the Elder buff does not last for as long as the Baron buff does. Glacial Mingo is doing a great job of stalling it out. Losing one kill here, one life there. In the meantime, Seraphine has stacked up a 9-stack Dark Seal. We do have to mention Rally on the Seraphine farming very well, usually positioning well. A big misplay in that last fight, but overall has had a great impact in this game, landing multi-mana encores and are really looking very good. It's just a matter of have ICB scaled too far ahead, and is their comp starting to fall off? Crystal Arrow going a little wide there. Definitely not what they were looking for, sailing through the wall. I think if you zoom out to China, you might be able to see that one pass by in a minute or so.
Yeah, definitely very wide there. Although I don't think anyone was in position, just trying to make them scared, you know.
It's a short enough cooldown. I think ICB are far enough ahead that they can use that cooldown, and it's not going to be fully detrimental to their
this is where
Rally looking for something on him, but the spell immune means Shidoko is going to be able to walk away from the charm with no punish. In the meantime, Rally maybe caught out. Sircave looking for the flank. Yuhan with a great zoning solar flare to keep Sircave away from his Seraphine. Good little bit of peel from him. In the meantime, ICB are looking to start closing the noose on this game, trying to get these waves pushed in, but Seraphine plus this Mundo plus the Tristana are just wave clearing so efficiently in these lanes.
And safely. Tristana has a lot of range. She can hit the minions from far away. Doesn't have to be committed to clear the wave, as we have Engage going down.
Now we have a team fight. Adamsuki looking for the Engage. Not ulti landing onto 2. Adamsuki getting that Umbral Trespass in. Dr. Pepper looking very low on this front line. Yuhan picks it up. Adamsuki picked up on the back line as well. 1-for-1 trades. The Crystal Arrow finally finds its mark. Nathaniel Lanier looking super low. The Elder Dragon buff has despawned, but it doesn't matter. ICB just have too much gold in their pockets. Great double root from Rally, but it's already a 1 for 3 in favor of ICB, and I think they're just willing to walk away with more money in their pockets.
Well, that does prevent them from getting to the base, though, as they lose they lose 3 members, but they protect their own base. I think you could call that a worth it, as they're already behind. So 3 members down doesn't really matter that much. But your carries are still up, and they're going to pick up this farm. So I think it's a worthwhile trade overall. I do think they probably should have pulled back mid-fight, didn't have to commit all the way. However, I think they were out for blood, seeing this as their opportunity, as Chandler might be out of position here.
Surcave looking for the Sonic Wave resonating strike, gets the cripple and the kick, but Chandler does find the positioning on the blast cone to get himself out of there. The Wolves keeping him safe, tanking up the Sonic Wave for him, but with him getting so low and not having a lifesteal item in inventory besides that Doran's Blade, that means that he's going to be the Baron almost for sure, not even contested, secured for ICB.
This is the 3rd Baron. How many is this the 3rd or 4th Baron?
It's 3rd or 4th. It's one of the later game ones. They really need to get close to ending this game. Shidoko maybe Rally stepping up too far. The Nethergrass landing onto him. He hasn't paid the QSS tax. A great little buster shot from Chandler Clark is going to keep him safe. But a great Crystal Arrow. A good cancel on him as well. There's the Sonic Wave going to land onto Rally there. He is going to be picked out. A good kick to keep Adam Suki away from himself. Now Dr. Pepper looking for the engage. Chandler Clark also getting picked up. The inhib starting to go down. This is going to be the last man defense for Glacial Mingos. A great hook onto Ham means he's going to go down as well. Adam Suki and Nathaniel looking for this last minute engage, but it is just not going to be enough. Chidoka picking up the final kill of the game. The towers are going to go down, and ICB keep themselves alive in this series. 1-2, we've got a best of 5 on our hands.
There we go. They finally counterpunch in this matchup, and they get themselves a win. And not to mention, without good draft adaptation here, they finally changed it up. Whatever was happening before, it was not working, and they switched to something new, and they pick up a win. And man, was that a stomp. They got a lot of kills in that game, early game, and they carried it throughout. Took a little bit closing out, I'll be honest, a little bit of positioning misplays and not focusing on objectives. However, they did pull out the win. And man, we finally have a fight on our hands.
We have a good series going on. Surcave, huge on that Lee Sin, finding the picks, finding the kicks. Really well played from him. A great series continuer from him. He's been looking good in this series, but my God, he looks fantastic that game. I think we have to say, a little concerning that it took them that long to finish. However, we'll take a finish at this point. ICB, you're not out of the series yet. Just keep it up.
Yeah, and now that you have the win on your back here, maybe you can propel that forward to more wins. And I think the man who's up for the test is Dr. Pepper. This man on the Nautilus, making a lot of plays, dominating the bottom lane with those amazing hooks, getting key picks, roaming to mid lane. I think this man is carrying the early game on his back. He doesn't want to go out. He wants to win these games. Very well played, from my opinion.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper has looked fantastic all through the series. Even in the games he's been losing, he's really been doing his best to make the engages and make the plays happen. I have to say, I don't think Glacial Mingos played that game terribly either. I think that was a good showing from both sides. I think Glacial Mingos came in with the team fight plan, but ICB executed on their early game picks fantastically and snowballed themselves into a win. We're looking at the series right now, 1-2 in favor of Glacial Mingos. Still match point in their hands, but the momentum has now swung in favor of ICB.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately for Glacial Mingos there, they weren't really playing against the team, their enemy team's comp. So the enemy team really wants to get picks, make sure they're spread out, use their tools to get champions CC'd up for the rest of the team to follow in for kills before objectives. And in that early game, they were all spread out. They weren't really together. And maybe they should have just bided their time before going for those early dragons that they ended up dying for anyway. And then they would have had a better positioning in the mid to late game phases, which looked like they could win a few team fights, even though they were down a lot of gold and they didn't even have the Dragon Soul. So I think maybe they could have played a little safer, or they could have coordinated a little bit better around what ICB was trying to do in that game.
Yeah, definitely. I think a well-played game from both of them. The series so far has been great for both teams. I think ICB starting a little slow, but they've shown that they're starting to take their stride and get into the series. We will we'll find out if they can continue it into game 4, as I think for the sake of our casters, we're going to take a small break before we hop into draft for game 4. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are going to let our voices rest before we get into the draft. We'll see you back then. You all take care. Welcome back to our series of Glacial Mingos versus Ice Cold Beverages. Glacial Mingos had a strong start at 2-0. ICB in game 3 have not evened the score, but brought themselves back now 2-1 going into our game 4 draft. I am What's Your Birdie. I am joined by Crimses. I'm going to work to pronounce that my best. And here we go with the draft. So far, seeing a very similar start.
Yeah, and these are some spicy games that now that we have a nice counterpunch, so I could really use an ice cold beverage right now, and it looks like this series is heating up.
Yeah, so far so similar in the draft. The Scion being taken off the table this time, not needing to ban the Ziggs as they are on that blue side advantage. So we'll see what the priority is from Glacial Mingos. They take the Diana off the table, both Ziggs and Tom Kench up. Importantly, we'll see what the priority is for ICB. They take away the Tom Kench. I'm terrified to say that both Ziggs and Nocturne are still open.
Ooh, and a steal. I'm assuming that they want to take away this Nautilus from Dr. Pepper, as he did excellently last game.
But notably, both Ziggs and Nocturne not taken off the table, both available for ICB if they want to pick it up. Leona, Ziggs, I think, would be a great blue 2, blue 3 draft pickup here, a strong bottom lane, or possibly flexing that Ziggs into the mid. We're going to have to see what they choose to pick up, because they now have their hands on the Tom Kench. It's a comfort pick for Dr. Goon. It's a champion he loves to play, finally getting his hands on it in this series. They lock in the Lee Sin for Sir Cave as well.
Oh,
with the
have it.
Lock in as well. Okay. ICB coming out strong with the draft so far.
Yeah, and I think Lee Sin did perfectly fine into Adam Suki's Kane last game, and it didn't really look like that was an issue, so I might as well take it again, as Sergey really popped off in that one mid-game fight. And Adam Suki kind of had tough time getting into the backline. Of course, Malzahar being a thorn in his side. Maybe they ban it this time around so that Adam Suki can get access. However, as it stands right now, we have ourselves the first three picks on both sides, and it looks like we don't have any definitive team comp for both sides yet.
Not just yet. The Shen being picked up on the red 3 for Glacial Mingos. Notably, this game, if Ziggs does get thrown into the mid lane, there won't be a point and click Malzahar for Kane to be taken out by. Just really like you said, a thorn in his side. No Malzahar ban to be seen, but targeting the support pool of Dr. Pepper, Nautilus, Leona, and Tarek all out of his hands. Morgana as well. He's definitely slipping down the pool in terms of champions that he likes to play. We'll have to see whether they pair something particular up with the Ziggs or they throw it into mid and have a different style of bot lane ready to go.
Oh, I believe this is also a steal, as Chandler's going to pick up the Ashe or just hovering it for some BM. Oh, that's a pickup
They
right there.
do pick it up. Glacial Mango stealing away the bot lane from ICV. Now the pick is really in their court with the power of the depth charge plus the enchanted crystal arrow. We'll have to see how ICB are going to respond.
So they have quite the dive comp now with a CC support from Ashe. However, this does leave Ashe vulnerable to her enemy team's dive from Lee Sin if that is possible. And they're going to round this up with a set pick. So is that going to be
set being picked up?
Support or mid lane?
Could be support, could be mid, could also go top. Tahm Kench, we've been talking about him as a top laner. He still has possibilities as a support, just not as powerful as he used to be. Definitely more focused on engage than peel. And with Kaisa looking to be the hover to round out, it looks like they are throwing Ziggs into the mid lane. It looks like it's going to be possibly a Kaisa set bot lane. We'll have to see how that settles out with the Tahm Kench. Now, how are ICB going, or how are Glacial Mingos going to respond in this final pick?
Yeah, and it looks like what we have here for the side of ICB is they don't have a lot of reliable engage. Now, Set is very good once he gets in, and now we have an Echo who I think is pretty good in engage, but also with his stun setup, good at counter engaging as well. Just throw your AoE stun wherever the enemy is gonna be, and then just show up there to get that massive stun. Looks like we have ourselves a Zig in the mid lane versus an Echo for Rally here. It looks like it's going to be pretty dicey for Ziggs right now.
Yeah, it's definitely the possibility of a Echo being shoved in, Ziggs looking to roam, but it looks like it is going to be the set in the support role, and Dr. Goon finally getting his hands on his Kench in this game 4. We were talking about comfort champions for ICB. Tahm Kench and Ziggs definitely fit the bill. We haven't seen the real Allen on Kaisa all that much, but on the other side for the Glacial Mingos, we're looking at a pretty strong dive comp.
For the side of Glacial Mingos.
Their comp is looking relatively scary without the same kind of point and click CC from the Malzahar that Adam Suki can bring, or that Adam Suki needs to be afraid of. No longer needs to pay that QSS tax. Now is really just worried about the Showstopper and the Dragon's Rage from the Sin. But those are much less reliable than something like the Nethergrass from Malzahar. It's not the same kind of instant lockdown. It's now going to be much more difficult to pin down the Kane, the Echo, even the Shen as they start to dive the backside of ICB. And I think it's going to be a little bit dangerous for them to pilot these fights.
So Set is really good for peeling one target off your backline here. So if anyone wants to go in, Set just ults them right back out. And then maybe, and hopefully for Dr. Pepper here, into the enemy team to set up a nice combo with his stun. However, there is multiple divers here for the side of Glacial Mingos, and not only that, they can also set it up with a Shen ultimate on top. So I'm expecting an Echo Shen engage to be quite deadly. A Kane Shen engage is pretty good as well, but the Echo Shen one is going to be pretty scary for the Kaisa and Ziggs here.
We're talking about this dive without even talking about the possibility of pick coming from Ash and Nautilus as well. I think Glacial Mingos have drafted a really strong comp here, and ICB have much less tools than they had last time to handle those picks and that dive. We saw ICB come out swinging in this game 3, set a very different style of support than Nautilus is much more summoner spell reliant to land these crucial engages. Can't just throw the hook out there, really has to get his body in there to land it. We're hoping that we see a similar style of push button go forward from ICB. It's what won them this game 3 and what they're looking to do in game 4. But if the side of Glacial Mingo starts to get ahead, it may just snowball out of their control.
Yeah, so fortunately for Dr. Pepper here, Ash is pretty low mobility, but on the other hand, she has a lot of utility in the way of slows. So if Dr. Pepper is in a bad position, Ash is just going to slow him down. Set doesn't really have many tools to get out of that. Maybe even stun him up with the ultimate as well. But if Set ever gets in on the Ash, well, she's going to be in pretty terrible position herself. So that is that one's a very slanted matchup. Whoever, depending on what position you're in, you're going to win heavily. But I'm probably going to put in favor of Ash Nautilus in the lane phase. However, not going to discount the Set Haymaker, which can be a huge game changer for that bot lane matchup.
Yeah, the extra true damage really good into champions like Nautilus, and especially with low mobility ADCs like Ash can really line up that true damage. It won't be as strong as maybe the mathematically correct set that's been thrown around, or even just your standard bruiser set that we've seen in the LCS, in the LEC. But in support, gonna have a little bit less damage, but the true damage will still be there. And as we get loaded up into our game 4 of Ice Cold Beverages versus Glacial Mingos, what are we hoping to see?
Well, I think I'm going to pinpoint mid lane here as, again, the lane of importance. If this Echo ever gets off the ground, he's going to absolutely devastate the backline of ICB here. They have to make sure that Rally is going to be behind all game, make sure that Echo doesn't get his one-shots off, because a fed Echo is absolutely nasty. You can one-shot people, you can ultimate to get your health while doing damage, and then go dive back in, get AoE stuns on the enemy. And we have interesting invades from both sides here. We may be seeing a level 1 team fight.
We've got double invades from both sides, both teams right now just passing like ships in the night.
That's a good reference.
The Glacial Mingos coming into the bottom side of the map, whereas ICB have chosen to stack a brush in the river, just looking to get that pixel brush. But now they may be
anyone who's separating is in trouble.
Glacial Mingos get first sighting. It's going to be the set and landing the face breaker for no stuns, but proccing his aftershock, the taunt landing. Dr. Goon getting really low. Flashes are being blown ignite onto Nathaniel, but he is going to survive. Dr. Goon is going to be burned down for first blood coming through for Yuham. Adam Suki going to pick up Dr. Pepper as well. But in the meantime, Sir Cave is also going to pick up Adam Suki. Rowley's going to pick up Sir Cave as well, and the real Allen just being left out to try the Ash passive being so strong at this level 1, and that is 4 kills for Glacial Mingos, 1 kill for ICB, and a heck of a lot of summoners being blown.
It's already more than 1k gold lead, and I just want to point everyone's vision towards Echo's item choices here. He already has 5 stacks on his he's on his dark seal here. 5 stacks. It's only been a minute 40 in the game, and he's halfway to fully maxed ring.
Oh
my
dear,
goodness.
that is a lot of power for the Echo. He's already sitting on 70 ability power total as a level 2 Echo. That's terrifying if you're a Ziggs. That's a champion that can kill you at level 2, even level 3, super easily.
I wonder how quickly he can kill the wave now with that extra ability power, because that's gonna affect everything. Affect your trades, affect the minion damage. As we have Dr. Pepper there.
Dr. Pepper looking to be aggressive. This is exactly what we wanted to see from him. Willing to burn that flash, willing to use the Hex Flash, willing to just get in there and make the punches. They got the level 2 advantage. They were looking for something. Couldn't find it, but they are at least looking for the trades, not being slow or nervous, which is the kind of plays we want to see from them. Adamsuki maybe looking to punish Dr. Goon in the top side. The Shadow Dash goes wide. No taunt into Dr. Goon. He's going to be able to Abyssal Voyage his way out of here. And with no extra CC, Dr. Goon's just going to be able to walk out without a Summoner blown. But now he's choosing to walk back in, taking the trades with Adamsuki, giving him as many orbs as he wants. Adamsuki probably laughing his head off at this, but in the meantime, we also have a fight going on the bot side. Hook landing onto Dr. Pepper Porter, has the Haymaker, lands the big damage, no true damage coming through, but it is just going to be damage traded over. Sir Cave looking up in the top side. The Abyssal Voyage not going to land a stun. Adamsuki can't sit in that wall forever, but he is going to be able to walk himself out of here. Nathaniel now only level 2. Sonic Wave not landing. Shidoko in the meantime also getting engaged on by Rowley. Doesn't have the flash. Rowley has Haze. With the extra E that is going to be a kill. The Sonic Wave not landing again, but the Ward Hop with the Safeguard is going to guarantee the kill for them at the top lane. But in the meantime, looking at that mid lane, Rally now has the Blasting Wand in inventory. 7 stacks on the Dark Seal. He's sitting on 120 AP, and Shidoko might be teleporting himself into trouble. The Phase Drive is going to land, the stun being big. That's half his health gone already, but Lee Sin is here for the follow-up. Shidoko able to walk away. Rowley forced to flash out. The red buff being applied. Looking for the slow. Looking for the Tempest Cripple. Looking for any kind of follow-up damage here. The Sonic Wave lands this time, and that is going to be a shutdown for Sir K. Big gold in his pocket. In the meantime, Dr. Boom taking a big trade with Nathaniel Linear. Oh my goodness, no. Just walking away with a sliver of HP, really taking advantage of that gray health as much as he possibly can. But he is just going to be walking out.
I'm going to give some props to my co-caster here. Lungs of Steel, Iron Lungs there. Able to cast for, I don't know, 2 minutes straight, all that crazy action. Gotta appreciate that. And man, we have a lot of action in those
aggressive early game. That is for certain. Important to note that Sir Cave not only picked up that extra 150 gold on the shutdown, but also took a couple of Dark Seal stacks away from Rally. A lot less power in his pockets now. Definitely a big deal.
Yeah, we'll see what Surf Cave can do to affect this game. He's the one with all the marbles on his side of the team. He's got to make a play somewhere on the map because everyone else is pretty much in a bad or losing position there. And it's up to him to turn it around for his team. And
yeah, we have to mention he was so instrumental in that game 3. The huge Lee Sin play. I believe it was 16-4 at the end of the game. Super high kill participation, super high kill percentage. His damage percentage wasn't lacking either. He was definitely a big force for ICB winning that game.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately for Rally, he does lose the stacks, but it's not the end of the world. It was temporary AP anyway. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that he has a huge gold lead still. 2-1-3 is not a bad scoreline at any point.
Adamsuki looking for the engage here. The Shadow Dash is going to cancel out the Abyssal Voyage. Gray Health popped very early, but Dr. Goon is just so tanky on this Tom already. There's no damage coming through. Adamsuki looking for the dive in. The stun is not going to land. Dr. Goon takes a tower shot. Big damage. And in the meantime, Shidoko getting engaged on in the mid lane as well. Sir Cave has walked his way up to the top side, looking to punish Nathaniel for overstaying. The Tempest Cripple is going to land, force the flash out of Adamsuki. Sonic Wave is not going to land. Shadow Dash not going to land. Lots of dodge skill shots happening here, but Sir Cave now in a little bit of trouble. Dr. Goon not walking up to help his jungler in time, but a great Abyssal Voyage to knock up for 2. The Sonic Wave lands, and Sir Cave is going to pick up that kill. He's going to, Tomcat is going to find the kill, and that's a 2-for-0 trade to the top side. What a fight!
Yeah, wow. They actively ran right into that Thomas Kench knock up there, thinking that, we got this. We can play pretty. We don't have to worry about it. But that was a mistake, as that knockup was vital to the Sir Cave picking up those kills and getting that turnaround there.
Stun from Rally. Can he find the burst onto Shidoko? He's going to be able to find that last auto attack, and Shidoko on this Ziggs 0-2, 10 CS down. He is just not having a good time here.
I mean, if Echo didn't get those free kills in the beginning of the game, it would be a lot better, but it looks like Ziggs cannot lane, and I don't blame him at all. That level 1 fight really put him in a bad position, and Rally managed to pick up a lot of kills and gold, and he has a solid advantage, and this is the doom scenario here. Doomsday is
Yeah, Rally
here.
alone is
Superman
1,000 gold.
is
Dr. Pepper is flashing forward, forcing the flash out of Chandler Clark. Now Dr. Pepper is looking for more. He's stacking up the grit, gets the true damage onto Ham. The re-engage is there. The hook comes in for Ham. The Stand United is starting to come through. Dr. Goon is channeling that teleport. He's walking his way in. Great Shadow Dash to land onto the real Allen, but there's no team follow-up. The Abyssal Voyage is going to not find a knock-up. Great flash from Nathaniel to walk out of there. And it's just going to be a trade of ultimates and summoner spells.
Yep, and that was. It looks like that fight's going to give over the dragon to ICB here, and they're going to pick that up graciously. I don't think Glacial Mingos is in a position to contest, and it looks like they're going to get the early dragon advantage. And this gold lead has shrunk quite a bit. However, I'm going to point out that the distribution of the gold lead is actually massively in the favor of Glacial Mingos, and it might be getting worse as Shadowco virtually cannot lane against this Echo. And he might just put himself in a bad position.
Doesn't find a stun. Great flash from Shadoko. He's going to be forced to, Riley's going to be forced to use that ultimate very early, get himself all that health back. But with the ultimate, he is just going to be able to walk away from there. Great chrono break from him to get himself back. In the meantime, Adam Suki also looking for a re-engage onto Dr. Goon. Bouncing Bomb is not going to land. Shadoko not having a lot of damage right now. Adam Suki gets stunned immediately out of it. Doesn't get the knockup from the Abyssal Voyage, but we also have a fight going on the bot side. Dr. Pepper stacking up the grid. We don't get to see that. We're back to fighting in mid. Sir Cave has found his way into the fight. Nathaniel Lanier a little bit out of position. A great eat from Tom Kench is going to guarantee that kill, almost for sure. Dr. Goon picking up that kill. Wow, a really cross-map plays being made all over the shop. Good roam from Dr. Goon to make sure he's also there and following the Shen. And a really great counter gank from Sir Cave to make sure that Adam Suki can't get away with that for free.
And this is a lot of action. 9 minutes in, 12 kills on the board already. And it you know, that early chaos is just setting up more chaos for the rest of this game. People aren't tracking flashes. People aren't tracking summer spells or ultimates or anything. They're just going in. They're just fighting. They're just brawling. And that's what we're getting right now.
These teams are really trying to test us as casters, and I am all here
Mostly
for
you.
it.
Mostly you.
Sir Cave already sitting on a 400 gold shutdown. We were talking about how far ahead Rally is in the mid lane, but there's an equal gold lead for Sir Cave over Adam Suki in the jungle. It's a big deal that Lee Sin is getting ahead of this early, as he's not a champion that scales incredibly hard. As well as Sir Cave's performance in that game 3. If he can continue that into game 4, I think ICB are going to be very happy here.
Yep, it's all on his shoulders right now. I guess Nathaniel's having a hard time against this Tom Kench in the top lane as well. So maybe Dr. Goon getting his, you can use his prio to make plays towards the mid lane. Although I'm looking for Rally to affect the map here. So he's mostly been sticking mid lane. I think that Rally should try to take an opportunity to roam, probably go bot lane, affect the bot lane.
Already has his form, looking for his way in here. Dr. Goon not getting hit by the knockup. Somehow, Nathaniel also tanking the knockup. Dr. Goon doesn't have access to the consume yet, but he might just be able to auto-attack Nathaniel down. He's literally just walking through the walking through the cane. He does not care. But now Ham has also made his way up here, and with the Nautilus ulti, that's just going to guarantee the kill. But sadly, Ham does not get
this might cost
for his
Ash's
ulti.
life. Chandler's in a bad position. Are they going to
Chandler
go for the
being
dive?
Forced to sit under tower.
Ziggs is roaming down.
Sir Cave and Shadoko both roaming down. The Void Plasma being landed onto Ash, but Ash reading the play very well, walking all the way back. Sonic Wave landing onto the minion wave. They're looking for something here. The teleport coming in from Rally. He walks his way in, but he immediately gets showstoppered out. Just not even going to have time to land the chrono break. He gets bursted out before it can happen. A great little CC combo from ICB, and that's another round of gold picked up for them, and another round of Darksteel stacks lost for Rally.
Yeah, that is a questionable teleport. I feel like with 4 members roaming down, you just get the other half of the map. So
I have to wonder if they knew that Shadoko was also there, because I think Sirkev was the only one who showed in vision. I would have to go back into the replay and check. We're going to have more fights as Dr. Kieran engaging something up here on the top side, really just looking to abuse this lead he has on Kench as much as possible. If we're just looking at the inventories, even with the XP differential, Dr. Goon massively ahead on this champion. Looking to maybe even tie Nathaniel, just not allowing this Shen to lane at all, even without a CS lead. A massive lead in just player comfort, it looks like, player execution for Dr. Goon.
yeah, looks like the comfort pick working out You would think Shen's going to do pretty good into Tom Kench, and for the first few levels he will, but as you can see here, Tom Kench bites back with a fury in the later parts of the game.
In the meantime, Glacial Mingos going to pop the Rift Herald in the mid lane. They might just be able to take the whole tower here as this last plating is going to fall. The charge will guarantee it, and that's first tower for Glacial Mingos, giving themselves that 1k gold lead and looking to move into the dragon spawning in 20 seconds.
I think they should have just gave all the money over to Rally there, but that's just a minor nitpick.
Rally looking for the engage. Dr. Pepper stacking up that grip beautifully, landing the true damage onto Adamsuki, and he's just blown up out of the fight before it can start. Rally looking for his way back in, has to chrono break himself out. Good heal from the real Allen to keep his support alive. Now, are Glacial Mingos going to contest this dragon, or are they going to be willing to give up the second dragon to ICB? It's either an Infernal or a Mountain Rift. Either way, it's not a soul you want to give up.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Glacial Mingos there, they did not have the backup of their Shen, who was stuck in the top lane, and they weren't able to save Adam with a Shen play there. However, this is stacking up. Looks like the gold lead has pretty much been diminished by 300 gold-ish. So this game is really close. The kills are close. The gold is close. And this is becoming a pivotal phase in the game here. If any team can muster a lead or wrestle it from the enemy team, it's probably going to set up a great mid game for the rest of this game here.
Yeah, we have to say once again, Sircave 6-1-2 on this Lee Sin, 100% kill participation as we're rounding out to the 15-ish minute mark. Was the play for Glacial Mingos to ban away the Lee Sin or even pick it away, allowing him to have this champion again, seems to have been the key to ICB not losing this early game.
Yeah, it seems to be carrying them so far in this early game, which probably, if they didn't have this Lee Sin, maybe would have spelled doom for them. But on the other hand, Adamsuki's going to have a lot more effectiveness in the team fight. But
he's looking to come up in the top lane again. Dr. Goon gets hit by the knockup, pops the gray health thick skin early, but with the ultimates being blown, it just seems like Dr. Goon is not going to have the effectiveness. Healing up a lot here. No anti-heal being built just yet, but with 3 people versus 1, it's probably just going to be Dr. Goon falling to his demise.
Well, if your normal ganks don't work out, then send in your support to aid as well. And it looks like they did that twice in a row, both times paying off effortlessly as Ashe holds down the mid lane and doesn't lose any CS there.
Yeah, critically, Ashe has not been punished for these support roams from Glacial Mingos. UHAM finding great times to roam away from his ADC, making sure to tell him, like, hey, just sit still, play safe. I'm going to go help out my top lane. Just don't die. And he's been doing it. He's even maintained a CS lead while doing it. I think I have to say that's very impressive communication and timing from the substitute support for Glacial Mingos here.
Yeah, I do think that Chandler was saved by Rowley sacrificing his life. Chandler didn't back out in time, but Rowley giving his life for the Ashe. Instead, not, in my opinion, not worth it for that scenario. However, looks like
Missile Voyage coming in again. Dr. Goon, an absolute missile with these. But now Nathaniel has a 2-level lead on Dr. Goon. He's been ganked so often, he's missing so much XP in these lanes. Has both summoners available, Nathaniel may be looking to trade with him heavier here. Now it's Balmy Cinder versus the completed Sunfire cape for Dr. Goon. And with the Grey Health healing, if the trade doesn't immediately end with Dr. Goon popping the shield, that's probably either an even or a lost trade for the Shen.
Yeah, the trick here is to get Tom Kench low, and as soon as right before he pops his shield, you get out, and thus cannot benefit from the shield trade as well. Looks like both teams are trying to set up a little bit early for this dragon here, but Glacial Mingos is going to be getting early advantage in the river. So we'll see if they can abuse this vision advantage to get a pick possibly, or even just set up a nice team fight.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to continue to be an exciting game. Still 1.5 minutes until Dragon spawns, so both teams just trying to farm up, hit those critical item breakpoints as soon as they can. Kaisa getting close to that mythic completion, whereas the bot lane for Glacial Mingos has already completed both of theirs. That's really where the disparity is coming through in this game. It's the bottom lane right now where Chandler Clark has been able to stay incredibly safe on this Ashe and not taken a lot of punishment, whereas UHAM has been able to roam incredibly well across the map and make sure that his top laner doesn't fall too far behind. I have to say, this is very well done from both of them, especially for being a substitute support, probably someone that they're not playing with as often as Kochki. So I think we have to say, well played to the Glacial Mingos bot side for that.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, I haven't talked to Gabe, but I think it's Kochki, right? It's like Russian or something.
I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but we'll have to see. Adam Suki maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Lands the two-man knockup. Great little bit of engage from him. Not dodging all of the crowd control with the Humble Trespass. Rally landing the two-man stun. Good cancel from Dr. Pepper with the showstopper, but he's just going to be forced to flash away. Shidoko now trying to peel away from him. There goes the grit, finally popping the shield. Rally ignited, forced to use that chrono break to get himself back. Another two-man knockup from Adam Suki, landing these Kane Ws. Dr. Goon is now here on the front line, being that tank force. A great flash force from him with the Abyssal Voyage. Another two-man knockup. Adam Suki, his third of the fight. Now the Stand United finally comes in. A great E from Dr. Goon, but sadly that doesn't cancel the Stand United. Shadow Dash landing onto the real Alan. Shidoko being picked off by Rowley in the meantime, and Nathaniel is just going to flash forward, pick up that kill, and Dr. Goon is going to fall in the meantime.
And that's
very good engage. Very good engage from Glacial Mingos. Good job taking advantage of the ICB's lack of awareness, and that is a 4-0 in their favor.
Well, we saw them earlier in the game, maybe like 30 seconds, setting up a vision advantage, clearing all the wards out, so that conferred them that win there. So if you don't believe that vision win games, this is complete counter evidence to that right there. And Nathaniel was just chilling in the top lane, just waiting, biding his time to ultimate a target. I do think that he should probably ultimate Echo as he goes in, but bided his time for the Adam Suki ultimate instead, and it worked out just as well.
Yeah, we have to say, great job on Adam Suki landing these crucial knockups, making sure his team has the crowd control to land these. And we're seeing the issue with having a bot lane that is so behind right now for ICB. The real Allen just not able to pump out the DPS that he needed to into the Shen.
You know, Kaisa is really good as a backline diver here, and their team, ICBM, has crafted a team that doesn't really have backline access or great team fight engage. And that's kind of the problem with their team comp, is they have to wait for the team to run into them, but they don't really have any good ways to get access to the backline when they do. So the real Allen is just going to have to try to crack the tanks, and in this case, when they are behind, they have a Rally who's super far ahead on the Echo. I don't think you're going to win in the damage department.
Yeah, Real Allen really going to have to watch his positioning, because Rally and Adam Suki and Nathaniel all have really good backline access and the ability to jump in, whereas the peel coming out from ICB is much less than it was last game, like we were talking about in draft. Dr. Goon getting stunned up, taking a hefty trade here, but with no shield pop, he's going to be able to heal up a good chunk of that, keep himself safe. But in the meantime, Shidoko maybe pushed up a little bit too far without vision. Nathaniel looking just for the big punish. Here comes the Nautilus depth charge, and with the 3 people down here just to make sure he dies. That's a rampage for Shen, who was incredibly far behind earlier in the game.
Yeah, and it looks like very well for Chandler to play it safe while his team makes a play bot lane. Doing the
you're in a little bit of trouble here. Gets the stun from Rally, and that is just going to be a secured kill for him. No thick skin shield coming through. This time, he was stunned up. And in the meantime, Adam Suki is just deleting the real Allen. Not able to play the game at all, as opposed to last game where it took him a while to stack up the Man Immune. He's got it fully stacked already. ICB might start falling apart at the seams. They're getting picked off one by one. A great haymaker, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't land. Surkay picking up 2 kills very quickly here. Good turnaround from him, but Adam Suki is just a little too far ahead on this Kane, and is now 6-3 on this pick.
And they're pushing all the lanes at the same time here. Really greeting it out, but it will win the game faster if you do win those fights on the side lanes. And Chandler just casually cleaning up this mid turret here. And Shidoko on the run from Adam Suki. Gonna miss the knockup.
Good dodge. Meantime, Rally picks up that tier 2. Great use of the time stop bubble, but with no mana, he's not going to continue that fight. He's just going to walk himself out of there, take the turret, say thank you very much, and leave quietly.
Yep, and now we've ballooned up to roughly a 7K or more like 6K gold lead here. And 7K gold lead, and looks like it's gonna be held there for quite a while.
Real Allen looking for the engage. Chandler Clark staying too far forward, but he's got the team behind him. Yuham landing the death charge perfectly. 2 teleports burned just to make sure Chandler Clark doesn't die, and ICB are now on the back foot walking away. Dr. Goon taking a hefty
This
chunk
might
of
be
damage there from
Baron.
the Echo. He is so far ahead. Deathcap's second item completion, 7 stacks on the Dark Seal, and with the Mythic passive from the Hextech Rocket Belt, really punishing
thinking
the
about
low
Baron.
amount of magic resist. That looks
They
like
could even bait it. They could even bait it. And they could just repeat bait it right now.
good ulti landing from the Ziggs. Now they're looking for the engage onto Nathaniel. He's standing on a ward. Great showstopper into multiple people. He's got the grit starting to be built up. A good Abyssal Voyage on top of Adamsuki. The true damage is going to land and he's going to be blown up. But in the meantime, Shidoko's been taken out on the back line. Surkay flashing away, just trying his best to survive. But he's not going to be able to get away from the Echo. And the last man alive, Dr. Goon. Because Real Allen wasn't there for that fight. He got picked off earlier. And that's just going to be 4 kills for nothing. For 4 kills for 1 for IC for the favor of Glacial Mingos.
And you can see what happens when your team doesn't have reliable gauge into the Ashe. She just kites all of them, kiting the set, and Dr. Goon on the Tahm Kench beautifully there. Doesn't even get hit in the whole exchange. You know, you don't have reliable engage, and all you can do is run at an Ashe. She's gonna just kite you out.
No easy go button, no flash Malzahar ulti. Maybe this wasn't the comp where you wanted the Ziggs. Sadly enough, as they finally get it in their hands, it's not the right pick. Chandler Clark 4-0 and 9. I love the Wits End second item pickup. I think this item is so strong. And into champions like Kaisa and Ziggs, we're dealing a good amount of magic damage. Even Surkay with the Tempest Cripple, dealing a good amount of magic. I think this item is getting so much value for him. Dr. Pepper stepping up a little far forward, doesn't end up getting stunned by Adamsuki. They are going to secure the dragon for themselves. In the meantime, Surkay has 2 people on top of him. In the meantime, Rally is also looking to find a pick on Dr. Pepper. Wasn't able to pop the grit. Nathaniel Lanier flashing forward. Shidoko pops the stopwatch, but who can be there to help him? Surkay looks for the Sonic Wave, but dodged away. And that's just going to be kill after kill in favor of Glacial Mingos. And this might just be the end of the series. They're now over 10,000 gold in the lead as we get close to that 25-minute mark.
Yeah, I just don't think their team has any answers to the Echo. Maybe old Tahm Kench would have saved the day, as well. It looks like he's going to be falling too. But with no good peel for their backline, Rally just has basically free access whenever he wants. He can dive and get the kills whenever he wants. And he's super fed, so he's going to do massive
Glacial Mingos might just look to end the game here. Rally looking to delete Real Allen off the map. Dr. Pepper looking to make a desperate final stand. A great haymaker landing the true damage onto multiple targets. But right now, the gold lead is just too huge. The Baron buff still on. Glacial Mingos might just look to end the game here. A good kill onto Adamsuki in return, but at what cost? At what cost? As it looks like Glacial Mingos are going to pick up the triple kill for Chandler Clark, 8-0-11, and it is just going to be the end of the series. A good mounting comeback for ICB, but it was no more as Glacial Mingos shut them out, 3-1.
Yeah, it was looking like they could mount a comeback, but man, ever since that level 1 team fight, it was downhill from there. Maybe not the way you want to end a series, but at least you got a good counterpunch in. But Glacial Mingos taking over that whole series, very well played out in 3 games. We won't talk about game 3. And man, what a series stomp out from Glacial Mingos.
A fantastic series, I think, for both teams. ICB coming off the ground a little shaky in game 3 and game 4. In games 2 and 3, maybe looking a little bit stumbly there, but ICB were just not the better team on the day. Glacial Mingos coming out with a strong 3-1 victory, and I have to say congratulations to both competitors. ICB, again, that really good counterpunch in game 3. They were never absolutely out of any of these games. Even in game 4, they still had good fights, good series of comebacks. It was a close series despite the scoreline being 3-1.
Yeah, I think it's just that level 1 play shenanigans that really turned the tides. If that didn't happen, we might have had a real close game on our hands. Unfortunately, Rally picked up all the kills in the right places as well, and it really didn't set him off on a good start for that game.
All right, and as we finish up our series here, I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight for our cast of the Glacial Mingos versus the Ice Cold Beverages. Now, the next game is going to be at 8 p.m. Central Time with Agent A2 and General Vici for the Reign of Kings versus Area of Effect Crowd Control Series. I hope that I'll see you all there. I'll be in chat. I'll be hanging out, making sure I get to take pointers from these 2 great casters.
All right, and I really appreciate having these casts on the day. My co-caster did a brilliant job doing the play-by-play, and I hope I brought enough color for the games to be exciting for you guys. My little artist drawing on there. However, that this is going to be end of this series today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. Again, going to give it up to my co-caster. Had to do a lot of talking that last game, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you very much. I have been What to Birdie. This has been my co-caster Crime Z. I do hope we'll see you all for the next series at 8. But for now, we are going to be signing off. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you then. Y'all take care.